Hi, are you sick and tired of paying hundreds of dollars a month for cable or dish? GNR TV is your answer. These guys have an incredible 100% legal product that is a cord cutter's dream. For as low as $25 a month, you will get over 400 HD channels, including all major sports packages, pay per views, premium movies, and entertainment. To get started, all you need is a streaming device, such as an Amazon Fire Stick, internet, and a desire to save a ton of cash. No contracts, no credit checks, no hidden fees. I myself have been a subscriber, and I must say this service is amazing. To learn more, search GNR TV on Facebook or Instagram, and I will also be posting a link on my pages to check out on my podcast website. Lastly, for first-time subscribers, use promo code SIR30 to save $5 for your first month. GNR TV, streaming done right.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of almost all ages, with parental consent, the sick twisted minds at Sacrificial Pawn Productions brings you a new style of horror film, like nothing you have seen before. There are no cops, no investigations. There is no backstory, no follow-up of the victims who were brutally tortured and murdered. Our story isn't about them. Normal Terror is about a single dad struggling to make ends meet. His son is his first priority. He goes to work, pays his bills, and is generally a great dad. The twist comes after he puts his son to bed. This is where he releases his stress. Some people do yoga, some hit the gym, some go for runs, some people paint on a canvas. An anonymous source once wrote on an abandoned asylum wall, "I never understood people until I took one apart just to see how it worked." If you are rear-ended in traffic, most people's thought runs to anger and their primal instincts of hurting the other party. Sam Neill does not have the ability to stop that primal instinct. Let us take you into the mind of a killer. Normal Terror is a concept from the mind of Sam Mason, who wrote, directed, produced, and is starring in this new age feature film.
Let's get slicing and dicing with Sir Sturdy horror fans. On this podcast, you will hear me and a guest do some movie reviews, random funny horror chats, and whatever else comes to mind. So tune in, kick back, relax, and always remember, I'll see you in your nightmares.
Well, just Jason's mask.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another awesome, exciting episode of Horror with Sir Sturdy. I have a great guest with me today. His name is Lance, and I just wanted to say thank you for coming on, and how's it going, Lance?
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. I'm new to this. This is only my second podcast ever, and I'm very excited. My first one was just yesterday, and you know about that.
Oh,
I am just really excited to be here with you.
they're like family to me, so you can I want you to discuss this podcast and shout them out, and then we can get, we can get going.
It was the Sacrificial Terror podcast with Sam, I Am Mason, and Rhiannon Nicole Zombie Barbie, two of the coolest people walking the planet. And they actually had me come on their second episode ever of their podcast. Just an absolute honor.
I did see some big news on there, and I want to congratulate you on that because I thought that was just awesome. I seen how happy you were. And listen, for all my listeners, I know I'm always saying people are crying. I'm not lying this time. He was really crying when he got this news.
Completely caught me off guard.
And, I would feel wrong if I had said the news, and it's already out there, but I want you to share the news, what Sam did for you, which was awesome.
Well, Sam is working on a movie, Normal Terror, which is going to be, I think, a game changer.
Yes.
My personal, and not just because, you know why, but I think it could actually be a game changer. So yesterday, and few people knew about it before I did, he completely caught me off guard and told me I was going to be in the next movie, the next Normal Terror movie. And he was writing a part just for me, and completely caught me off guard.
Which
I was shocked.
he was.
I was still floating.
I was shocked myself because I didn't know about this either. I seen it and I was just like, wow, that was awesome. That's really, really, really cool.
It is.
And I can't wait to just hear the story about it. Like what he's gonna write. Because the way his mind works is just
He's warped. He is
yeah,
in a good way.
he is. I think that's why he lost all that hair from all the craziness that goes on in that head of his.
Remember how long his hair was?
I
He had long hair.
He showed me pictures. I told him that's Photoshop. I said that's. I was
That's
like,
good stuff.
I was like,
There's
that's
no way.
Photoshop. Say that is not. Don't be lying to me. That's not you.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
But so my first question I'm going to ask you is, who or what got you into horror, and then what's the first movie you remember that scared you as a kid, if any?
I think my journey growing up, I was left alone a lot. And just things happen for the reasons they happen.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of had to figure things out myself. But along the lines, I was thinking the other day. I think my parents. I was telling somebody a story. I think my parents took me to go see The Exorcist when I was 4. That'd have been 74, so I was 4 years old. But they took me to see the drive-in, and I think they knew I was going to pass out, which I did. I remember, because I remember the opening of The Exorcist, and it's like, I know I've seen this movie,
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, but I don't think that really got me so much. It was, I think the first Halloween came out, and I saw the Siskel and Ebert review, and how much they loved it, and I was probably like 9 or 10 years old, and so the first time I saw that, I think that really grabbed me, and then we went and saw a double feature in Austin, and it was The Creature from the Black Lagoon
Nice.
and Night of the Living Dead, and I think that night I was all in. I think I just became a horror fan, and yes, I'm a huge movie fan, but I think deep down inside it's all horror. I'm all in.
I'm with you on that.
The fake blood, the practical effects. I am just all in.
I'm with you. I'm with you. It's just as we were discussing a little while ago, and as I've said many, many times, horror is like the one genre where it can literally go in any direction and it's not wrong.
Right.
And it's one of those movies. It's also another genre where you could say, again, I bring this movie up so much, I can't help it. I just watched. I could say like Lance. I just watched a movie last night with a killer turkey in it. You should check it out. Thanksgiving. What are you gonna do if you say you've never seen that? As soon as this recorded is done, you gotta go look for that movie.
I'm gonna go see it. Exactly. Every time.
And it's just, I love how that is with horror. And you could even say I've seen a horrible, like, look, I've seen the worst horror movie I've ever seen in my life. And you're going to watch it just to see if it was really that bad. Like,
It was that bad, right?
it can't be that. And you're going to watch it. If it was bad, hey, I watched it. It's like we punish ourselves because I've seen plenty of bad horror movies. And it's like, why am I still watching this? But
Right.
I'm like, I have to finish it. Maybe it's going to get better. And it doesn't. But it's like, I finished it. And I've even had the thought of where I'm like, I wish I didn't watch this movie, but then I'm like, if I never watched this movie or if I took it out of my mind, I'd end up watching it anyways. So
Right.
I got to get rid of it.
I think what I've had to kind of take my time and listen to other people. So, like, say you would say, X movie was the best movie I ever saw, and I would immediately go, that wasn't the greatest movie. But then I got to stop and think, okay, I'm this old, and this person's this old, and what they're doing is saying I think what they really feel is a memory, something that happened when they went and saw that movie. Because, like, for me, I see a lot of people say they love Jason Takes Manhattan, and I just can't get on board. As hard as I've tried, I just can't get on board, basically for the fact that it's just not in Manhattan enough.
Yes.
It's on a boat most of the time, and I just want to strangle the director. Like, what were you thinking?
I know. That's actually a great example. And it's funny you mentioned that because with me, it's like the Friday the 13th, the franchise, I love it to death.
Right.
For the best of it and for the worst of it. They didn't
Right. Correct.
for the the slasher films, they don't make the greatest stories and all that. But what it was with Jason that really, really made me love the movie was just as a kid, I remember USA Network, Friday the
Always
13th,
on. Yep.
it's on. So I've seen it. Those movies I've probably seen more than any other horror movie. And just because, again, as a kid, throw the TV on. It cuts all the good parts out, of course, but you get to see it. And it just, I love it. It's one of those things. So Jason's my favorite slasher. He's my favorite horror icon slasher. And I would like to know who yours is.
Mine's Michael.
Michael
All day.
Myers.
Michael Myers. The shape, and mine is absolutely 1978. The darkest eyes. Don't know why he's evil. He's just evil.
Yes.
Why is he doing what he's doing? No clue. I absolutely love that so much. And I'm a fan. I will admit I'm a fan of the Rob Zombie one too. And I do think he did spend too much time telling us who Michael was.
Mm-hmm.
But Carpenter's 1978 Michael Myers, top notch. That's the best.
I like that answer. See, with me, with the Rob Zombie ones, I loved the first one, and I do get what you're coming from because my brother Rob says the same thing. As far as like with the '78 version, he likes how he's just doing. You don't know why he's doing it,
Right.
but I like both because I'm like, you kind of get a backstory of why he's doing it.
Right.
But again, my brother Rob, he'll say it's kind of like cliche, like we've heard this story before in a sense.
Right.
You know, a kid growing up in a bad area, bad family, broken home, whatever the case may be. Of course, he's going to turn out and be a killing asshole, so to speak.
When William Forsythe is your stepdad, you know what I mean? You're going to be a jerk.
And then you got the '78 version. You don't know why he's doing it.
Right.
And I like them both. I love them both. I really did. The second Rob Zombie one, I did not like that.
I still liked it, and people get on the white horse. Now, you know, there's two endings to it, and I don't know if that had something to do with it because there's one ending I think where Lori dies, and there's one where she lives, and I liked the one where she lived.
Okay.
But all the versions I keep finding, I have like 6 or 7 copies of it. Each one has got the same ending.
Oh.
And I want to find the one from that's the one I saw at the theater was where she lived. I thought that was because to me it was like a passing of the torch.
Yeah.
Like you would actually have a Halloween 3 and Laurie would be the killer, but
that would have been something.
That would have been different.
Speaking
I was
of,
going to ask you real quick.
Go ahead.
Baghead Jason to bald in that short time period. Did that ever bother you?
No, honestly.
You know what I'm talking about? Because it's like he was the hillbilly looking guy.
Yeah.
And they pulled the bag off, and then what should just be a short time later, he's bald. You know, of course, he ends up with the iconic mask, so that was cool.
That was
one thing that always kind of stuck with me is like he just jumped through the window. He just and we go to part 3, and then she tells the story when he chases her, and he was bald in that story. So it's like that was the only thing that really bothered me.
I didn't even really. See, now I have to go back and look at that again because I never even really thought about that. But that's
because supposedly it takes place like just shortly from 2 to 3. If I've got my facts right, I want to say there was like the guy at the beginning that owns a little shop or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They're watching a newscast of something happened at Crystal Lake.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So I need to watch it again too.
I mean, he could get a haircut. I don't know who would cut his hair, but
right.
You know, you mess up on his hair.
Just fell out.
You mess up on his hair, you know what's gonna happen.
That's it.
You do a good job. He's just not gonna pay.
That's right.
Like, okay, you got this one.
And thank God Shelley had that mask because I love that mask.
Yes. Part 3. That was so great. That was so great.
Absolute favorite Friday.
See, mine was 3 all the way up until I was on. I got to tell you this one. I was on a panel with the con I was telling you about, Scare Con I was at last October with some of the cast from Part 7.
Oh wow.
The doctor. Now I'm horrible with names, but it was the doctor, Tina, and what was I don't remember the main guy's name, but those 3.
Oh wow!
And so that's my new number 1. And
I've seen that gain a lot of ground lately. People are really digging that one.
You know what it is too with that one? Like it wasn't bad at all. It was between those. Like when I did my countdown, I think that was like Part 2, and then Part 3 was my favorite. Excuse me. Part 3 was my favorite, and I think Part 7 was second. But that switch, I even said on the list, I was like, this list can switch at any time. It's not like set in stone.
Right.
But yeah, Part 7 and a big Kane Hodder's my favorite Jason, hands down. And I've got to read I actually listened to the audiobook. And just listening to the story and listening to when he was talking about Friday the 13th, like just the way he moves just his attitude, the way he took that role over, and he was in 4 of the movies.
Right.
I mean, they weren't. It's sad that. Now, all right, with my list, I know Jason X was like towards the bottom. I know Part 9 was towards the bottom. So was Jason Takes Manhattan. I enjoyed every single one of them, but there was just better ones than that. and it's like Kane Hodder was the best Jason, but out of all like 3 of the 4 movies were the worst. Were the worst
I
ones.
love Jason X. I think Uber Jason was amazing, especially when he gets the upgrade. I
I,
think that was a badass look.
you know what
Just
it,
amazing.
you know what it is with those though. He looked awesome. I just didn't like it compared to the other ones.
Right,
You know what
right.
I mean? Compared to the earlier ones, like I loved how you go to this camp and you're gonna die, and then
Right.
it's like I'm thinking to myself, who if you know this guy is a known murderer who cannot be stopped, why the hell would you take him to space with you?
Right.
Why not just send him to space by himself and leave him out there
Exactly.
in orbit and you stay down here? But they just thought that was
You
a
know, my
great
biggest
idea.
complaint of that one was my absolute biggest complaint on the Jason X,
What's
the
that?
background music.
Oh, I
That's
don't
my
even
biggest
remember.
complaint. It was just mundane and just that's the my biggest complaint. And I love that movie.
Yeah, it's
I
a
love Jason X.
the every single Jason movie has some fun kills. A
Yep.
cool thing about the Jason series from when Kane Hodder was starting in it, I don't remember the island he was living on, but it was like one of the many islands I believe off of Hawaii.
Okay.
But in Jason X, I know it's in Jason X, it's in a few other ones, but I know for a fact in Jason X when he's in that before they bring him to space when he's in that thing frozen,
Right, right.
whatever name is on that thing is the name from the island that he used to live
Oh,
on.
that's okay. That's cool.
And I
That's
heard
neat.
I was just like, that's so freaking awesome.
That is cool.
And I always meant to look back and I haven't. I got another one for you though. What did you think about the new Halloween?
I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's caught some flack too because it retconned everything, all the other movies.
Mm-hmm.
But and everybody, and I think some people were like, "Yeah, you're letting go of everything that happened from part one, after part one,
Mm-hmm.
and then but then you're putting little nods in it." I thought it was kind of neat. I thought all the little nods were neat, and I tried to catch as many as I could.
Me,
But I loved it. I thought it was a really cool movie.
me too. I only seen it one time. As a matter of fact, my wife and I were on our way home from that Scaricon, and she was like, "We should go see this." So we literally came right home, dropped it,
Oh,
like
that's
unloaded the
awesome.
truck, and went right there. Watched it, and we left the movie. The funny thing was, we went to go to the supermarket to grab some snacks or whatever after the fact. So I think we had the next day off. I call my brother. I'm like, "Hey, I just seen Halloween." He's like, "Yo," like we literally. He was like, "Yeah, we're just leaving there too." And
Oh, wow.
the funny thing, listen to this though. Him and his wife they just left the movie also. They were getting ready to go grocery shopping as well. It's like, what the
That's
heck?
awesome.
And
Yeah, I think the part that people were having an issue with the doctor, and I thought the doctor was perfect because I heard they wanted to have Lori be the reason he got out,
yeah,
and then they thought if Lori did if they kept that storyline, people would hate Lori.
hmm
So maybe they did have to squeeze that doctor in, but I thought it was perfect because he was obsessed with Michael. He wanted to see the guy in action.
and
He wanted to be
mhm.
Michael. You
and
know.
like with that, you can kind of you can see that happening though, because if you think of as far as like if you want to go with real life things with serial killers, people are obsessed with that to the fact that where they want to meet that. There's women that want to. Hey, if you ever get out, I want to marry you. I'm like, he
Yeah, right.
murders women. Why? What? Come on now, use your brain.
Ted Bundy kills women.
Yeah. Oh,
Why can't I marry them?
I can change them. No, you can't.
Well, we saw it. We saw it Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We saw
Oh,
it 3 consecutive days.
that's awesome.
I'm just, that's my guy.
That one was really good. Like that one, I've been debating this for the past. Like after I seen the new one, between that and the '78 version, those are my two favorites. I don't know which one's one and which one's two, but they were done so well. And the way that the new one started off, it was done so well as far as like with everything. But I love how like the little things, like for example, when the kids were walking, and one kid, I don't remember their names, was saying, "Hey, isn't that your grandmother's brother?" She was like, "No, that's
Right,
just a
right.
rumor they started." I
Yep,
loved that little
yep.
piece, and then I loved how when Michael and Lori are fighting on the inside of the house, he pushes her off the balcony, and when he goes to look down, she's gone,
She's gone. Yep.
and he's just looking around like, oh, so this is how they feel when I do this.
Right. That's awesome.
And
That's right.
it was that movie was a great. I have to actually review that movie one of these days. I'm gonna have to have
So
you on
good.
I'm gonna have to have you on to review that movie with me because
I will definitely do it. Definitely.
you're actually the third person I know that's Michael's like their number one is you, my sister, and my cousin. Michael, my favorite one, and my cousin. I had him on the podcast twice so far. We did the original one. We did part 6.
Okay.
That's his favorite one with the
Okay. When she
what the heck
chops his head off at the end. Is that 6 or is that's H2O?
That's H2O. 6
Okay.
is the one with the triangle on his arm, the triangle on
Okay.
his wrist. That one.
The Thorn storyline.
That one.
That's is that the Ruddening? Paul Rudd was in that one.
I think
Is that
so.
what they call it? The Ruddening? Because he's in it. I forget now.
But
I do know. I will be the first to admit too that all the other movies, if that mask wasn't on point, it pissed me off.
mhm.
You know, but I give Zombie credit for the Rob Zombie credit. I liked his masks.
Yeah,
I did like his masks a lot.
I liked his masks, and then with the Rob Zombie one, I like how he did the whole thing where you kind of seen why Michael was the way he was.
Right.
And one big thing that I always bring up in a Six Hours when I talk about the movie is I remember in the was he in the hospital or was he in the police, like locked up wherever he was,
Right.
when he kept asking about his, I think it was after his mother killed herself after she seen him attack the nurse,
Right.
and he was like, when can I see? And the doctor kept saying, they're doing fine. When can I see my mom again?
Right.
And he was like, you know what? This is gonna be the last time I ever talk. And he just literally didn't talk anymore,
Yep.
like
Yep.
ever.
And that was part 2, right? Correct.
No, that was the first. That was the first one
Was it the first one?
because it was when he
Okay.
was. It was when he was still a kid from the Rob Zombie one. It was when he was still a
Okay.
kid,
Okay.
and I was like, yeah, this is good. One thing I was like, I was kind of a little tiny bit bothered about, but I know he's a maniac killer. Is when he killed the janitor that was always helping him out.
His best friend. Yep. Like his best friend.
Yeah, and I'm
That was
like,
that was Machete.
yes,
Machete.
Danny Trejo.
Yeah, he's the best.
And I was just like, why? But I get it at the same time. Like he doesn't care about anybody. He doesn't have any feelings. I'm just like,
Right.
just let this guy live. Just push him in the corner and let him go. But you know,
That's right.
you know what I'm still wondering to this day? Who taught Michael Myers how to drive?
That's a big joke too.
That
That's
that,
right.
that was a terrible idea.
From the first movie, from the original.
Yes,
Took off on it. Yeah.
that was a horrible idea. Like whoever did that needs to just go to jail. You need to be locked up. That was a bad idea.
That's funny. That's hilarious.
So what movies are you looking forward to seeing now?
A lot of stuff, independent wise. A lot of good stuff coming from the guys that did The Barn,
Hmm.
Justin Seaman and Zane Hirschberger and Brett DeJager and all those guys.
Hmm.
Um, I know. Oh, if you haven't seen it yet, check out Close Calls. That's by Richard Stringham.
Close call.
He's a really cool guy, and he's real active on social media as well.
Awesome.
But check out Close Calls. That's a real trippy movie. And then, but anyway, the Barn. If you hadn't seen that, it's a throwback
Mhm.
80s version type feel. And Justin Seaman did that total labor of love. And I believe the Barn 2 is in the works. So I'm looking forward to that.
Okay.
And then 1031 was an anthology series and or anthology movie, and it's got directed by like Rocky Gray was involved, and Rocky Gray won a Grammy with as a drummer for Evanescence back in the day.
Oh, that's
And he
awesome.
does a lot of music like for the independent movies. I think he did. I think like the Fright Rags. You see those commercials that'll pop up on your Facebook for Fright Rags.
Hmm.
He does the music for that.
That's
Or
awesome.
or has. And anyway, so you got Zane Hirschberger, Brett DeJager, and I know I'm blanking on a million different names, but the 1031-2 is in production right now. That's going to be a fun one, a very fun one. Let's see what else. What else? As far as wide release, and I know I'm probably blanking on something right now. I did just see Godzilla. We
How-
saw that. That was awesome.
Was it?
That was really good. We saw it Thursday night, and then Ma. We're dying to see Ma.
I want
I've
to see
heard some
that.
really good things about that. Good friend of mine named Damon Williams. He's out there in Cali. He told me it is top. It was disturbing. He was disturbed after he left.
I'm sold.
And so yeah, I'm sold.
That's all it takes.
So we got some good stuff coming. I know, and I'm blanking right now. I feel like I'm unprepared for you, but yeah, the independent stuff coming.
Mhm.
Be on the lookout for the Barn 2, 1031 2, and yeah, I'm totally blanking right
Oh,
now. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff. Stuff changes daily. I mean,
It
there's
really
so much
does.
good stuff.
It really does.
And Normal Terror, duh. I mean,
Oh,
I got to make sure
yeah.
Sam knows I'm dying to see that.
He knows. He knows we want to see that. He better know by now.
Right, right.
I'm with you on that though. Like definitely Normal Terror. I can't think of too many independent ones. I know there's quite a few fan made films coming out like for
Oh,
Jason.
yes. Yes.
I
Oh, and
j-
Deborah Voorhees project,
the Voorhees
the
Project.
fanboys,
Yes,
Fanboy 13, I think.
that's another one. I'm actually gonna
That's
get
what I want
them
to
on
see.
here one of these days too. Fanboy 13. Oh, I had
Awesome.
Deborah Voorhees on here for Fanboy 13 to talk about that movie and all that good stuff.
Awesome.
But
Awesome.
there's another Friday the 13th one. I just can't think of the name
Was
right
it
now.
Vengeance? Was it Vengeance?
Um, that could be
Something
one.
with Jason the title. I know. I see those all the time too.
Jason Rising.
Those look really good.
Jason Rising, a Friday the 13th film.
Those look really good.
And I'm sure you've seen this movie. Never Hike Alone.
Yes. And I think they're gonna make a. Are they making another one?
They are
That's right. Yeah. Okay. Awesome.
awesome. Did you see the movie that Renee Rivers did?
Which one was that?
What did he do? He did like a short Halloween short.
Probably.
Oh man, it's
I
at the tip
probably
of my
did.
tongue. Spirit of Haddonfield.
I did see that one. I did. I
Oh
saw it
my
on
god.
YouTube. That was excellent.
Me and my cousin actually. The cool thing was with that. What we watched the original Halloween first, and then we watched Spirit of Haddonfield. We reviewed both those like in one episode. That was amazing the way they did it.
That was well shot.
And the way we explained it, from what I remember, as far as like say if you have kids that want to get into horror, I said that would be a good movie to start out with, The Spirit of Haddonfield, because it wasn't too. It was good. It was really good. Don't get me wrong, but it wasn't like too over the top scary for kids to see,
Right.
depending on their
Oh,
ages.
dang it. There was one Ian Messenger did with Sarah Schultz, which she probably went by Jessica Stabbit.
Mhm.
Really cool. And I actually have that one. It's in my collection, and it's a Friday the 13th. And they did a good job on that one. It's a quick 13 minutes.
Oh, I
mean,
gotta see
some of them
that.
just get straight to the point.
I gotta
mean,
see that.
It's really good. It's really good.
These fan made films are so amazing. Like I love how people like literally you can pick up your phone and have a couple
Make a
friends
movie.
that have something and
Yeah.
make a movie. Because the cameras on these phones nowadays are pretty good.
And it's all love. It's all out of love too.
That's
They just really
the
love
best.
the movies.
That's the best. Like I love how even like I can speak for myself with the horror podcast and hearing other horror podcasts. I love how there's such a passion for it. Just
Yep.
fans all over the place. You as well, coming on podcast 2 days in a row now.
That's no.
But coming on podcasts and stuff, and it's just like the community is so accepting.
Yep.
Like
Yep.
I've been to Comic Cons. I love all that stuff. But I've been to Comic Cons. I've been to horror cons. I prefer horror because that's my favorite genre.
Right.
But like I feel with the Comic Cons, I'm not gonna say 100%, but I feel, for example, some girlfriends or wives or whatever, I feel like they get dragged to those. Like they don't want to go. But I
Right.
feel like with a horror con, everybody there is a fan of horror in one way or another.
Everybody.
You're either a big fan or you're just a casual fan, but you're just like, you want to go to this con. If you know
And
about it, like,
super
hey,
cool.
I'm going to go.
Everybady's super cool too.
Yes.
I've been to two in Bastrop, and they were the most comfortable, laid back experience of my life. Even I had the guy that ran I don't know if you can see my shirt. It's the gas station, the Texas gas station.
I can see the top.
or it's just the gas station. I don't know if
From,
you
okay.
can- it's in Bastrop,
That's
Texas,
awesome.
and that's the where the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre was filmed.
Really?
That's part of it. And Roy and Lisa Rose have built that back up. Plus, they started a convention, and I went to that in 17 and 18. And due to some illnesses, they didn't have one this year.
Mm-hmm.
But I met like Sid Haig, Lou
He-
Temple. I met Art the Clown, David Howard Thornton.
I can't wait to meet him.
I mean, just some really, really cool. Ed Neal, the hitchhiker, the reason why people are taking to see Leatherface.
He is amazing. I didn't get his autograph, unfortunately. I ran out of money. Autograph.
Imagine that.
You know what it is, and I'm sure you're the same way. When you go to these cons, we're like children.
Right. I freak out.
It's like giving your kids, your kids, say $100 and letting them go to the video game store or the candy store or $200.
Exactly.
You know that money's gonna be gone
Big time.
within like 10 minutes. We're the same
And
way.
I feel so bad. Like I met Tyler Shea Cohn, who was in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation with Matthew McConaughey and Renee Zellweger.
Mm-hmm.
The movie they didn't know, their people didn't want to be seen. But I met him, and I didn't know. We ended up cultivating a friendship. And I'm sitting there texting him one night, and I'm like, going, dude, I feel so bad. I'd budgeted just enough money to get the blah blah blah's autograph, and I didn't leave enough for new. And I feel so terrible. like within days, he sends me this huge freaking cut up of himself, and he signed it for me.
That's
And that's
amazing.
like that's what I'm talking about. You know, just the kindness of the horror community.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
he's a super guy too.
Sam is like that too. Like I said, back we both started around the same time. I want to say, found each other. I don't remember the horror group we started talking to, and then from there I had him on. We just kept sharing each other's things, helping each other out, talking to each other, watching each other grow within a year. And he sent me a shirt and a hat and a poster. This poster signed, and I'm just like, that means a lot. I'm gonna when I start.
Can you see the pictures back there?
Yep, I see the one up in the top corner, and I see the one like kind of right behind you.
Yep. He did that for me too. He's awesome.
He really is. And like I was talking, you know what I liked about what they're doing with Normal Terror too is on Facebook. When I know they were doing it, I'm sure they still will when they get started back up recording. But they were showing like how they do the special effects, like how they make the stuff.
Absolutely.
And he asked me about that. He was like, "Hey, I want your honest opinion, but Aaron, what do you think about this as a fan when we do stuff like this?" And I said, "Me personally, I love it because I said that's the kind of stuff that we want to see is how was it made?
Yep.
How do you do this?" And I respect it because I was saying to somebody, I was like, you know, it's crazy because somebody can spend, let's say I know nothing about practical effects. I know nothing about making it.
Same.
So people who do the practical effects, you know, correct me if I'm wrong, don't bash me. Say they take 40 hours to make a prop. Like say they make 40 hours to make your head, and you know your head's gonna get exploded or cut off for a 5-minute scene.
Right.
That right there amazes me. I'm like, you took the time to do that to destroy it, which is freaking awesome.
Yep.
And it looks great. There's nothing better than practical effects. CGI, we have a love-hate relation. Not even a love-hate. It's like a like-dislike relationship.
Sometimes you have to have it. I get that.
I get it. Sometimes you have to have it, but I feel it's overused at times.
Right.
And back to these independent films and fan-made films, the thing I love about them, I know they have a smaller budget, but the good thing about their smaller budget is they have to use practical effects, and they do such an amazing job with it. Terrifier is a great example of practical effects. I love that freaking, like, that movie was just wild.
Damien is thrown off.
Yes.
He is thrown
He
off.
is. And David Howard Thornton, his acting in that movie was just, it was amazing. Like, I have yet to see a movie like that where he, like, I couldn't do something. I mean, I'm no actor, but I couldn't do something like that. Like, he was playing a clown / mime. I don't know if they're the same thing or not, but he's playing a clown / mime. And all the stuff he's doing where he's, like, gesturing how he's laughing and all this stuff, but he's not making any noise, not talking at all. I loved it.
Yep. That smile right there in the diner, when he did that smile, I was like, this is next level.
Yes.
Right there, I was like, this is different. And
yeah.
I mean, I fell in love. I talked to him at that convention in last September,
mm-hmm.
and I was picking his brain, and he was telling me some cool stuff, and I don't know if it's common knowledge or not, and he didn't really answer me, but I said, is art supernatural? I mean, is he ghost-like? Is he something? And he kind of looked at me like he wanted to answer, but he didn't want to answer.
Yeah.
And then you know why I asked that question.
Of course, because the end of the movie, which I'm gonna let you learn a little. Well, it's not even a secret because people know, but because it's your first time on the podcast, any movie we discuss, it's not spoiler free at all, unless the only way I won't spoil a movie, which I haven't done this yet. Like say if a movie just came out and I went to go see it in theaters,
right.
But I usually don't even discuss those for a while so people get a chance to see them and all that good stuff. Or if I had one movie, somebody sent me a screener, and me and my friend Matt reviewed it, and the guy was like, "You guys can discuss the movie, just don't give away too much, and please don't tell the end." Cool, fine, that's cool. But other than that, I spoil.
I think anybody that spoils a movie needs to be hung by their nails, by their toenails. I want to just strangle them sometimes, but I do my best not to spoil.
The thing is, with this podcast, for my listeners, they know, like, you have, say if we were reviewing a movie, I'll be like, listen, we're about to discuss, let's say just Friday the 13th, for example, or Halloween. There's going to be spoilers. Turn it off now if you don't want to hear the spoilers. It's on you. Unplug your headphones, do what you got to do, and go watch the movie. If you listen, that's your fault.
Yep.
And they've listened to enough episodes where they just know. But like I said, if it's a brand new movie, I won't spoil it. Or if if it's a fan, not even necessarily a fan film. If I get a screener that's out before anybody can see it, I'll discuss what I can discuss and I won't spoil it. But other than that,
That's gotta be a cool part of what you do.
it's
Getting to see those screeners.
So far I only got one. I'm hoping more will come, and it was fun though. It was fun to do. It was cool to do,
That's cool.
and I'm sure I can get more. Hopefully, I won't be cocky about it, but I'm sure I can get more.
Right.
You got to be personable with those things, I
There's
guess.
some benefits,
Yeah, but it's.
I'm a dog.
I mean, I look at it as far as like doing the indie films and all that, and the fan made films. As far as them coming on here, I feel honored that they come on here, and it's kind of like a free promo for both of us because they'll share the podcast, and they're on the podcast promoting their stuff and discussing it, and yeah, like I said, they'll share it, I'll share it, and we just all help each other out.
Absolutely. That's the cool part about it. Love that cup. Freaking love that cup.
I believe my wife got this from Walmart
I want to say I saw that. I think I've seen those.
around around Halloween.
Yep.
I believe.
Best time to go to Walmart.
Yes, I was just gonna say the best time because you get these cool cups, you get these cool mugs. I believe she got this Jaws mug that I showed you earlier.
Yeah, I think I had the same one. Absolutely, I think I have that one.
And I have another one, like the one with the straw in it, but that's downstairs. And I have one from It. That's downstairs.
Did you get the one with the fake ice cubes in it?
Yes, the little boat.
Cool.
It
Yeah.
has the little boats, and Jaws has something. I forgot what it is.
I got the Friday the 13th one. I think it's
Oh man,
maybe it's little masks or something.
I'm jealous. I have to find that.
It's in the freezer. It's in the freezer.
Yep, I have this too. I don't know how. Again, with my background thing, I don't know how well it'll show up. But let me see if I can grab it. It's freaking paper plate. Oh, hang on. Oh,
There.
maybe if I
It's trying, isn't it?
take it out of this.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's
Are you
paper
looking forward
plates.
Are you
and
looking forward
napkins.
to the second one?
Yes.
Yeah, that looks
Oh
pretty
yes.
good.
And I loved the first one. I
do
loved
too.
it. Chapter 1. I loved it. I thought they did such an excellent job on it. And I love with that movie. Before I watched it, my brother gave me the book. I didn't realize the book was as long as it was.
Right. It's huge.
So I was reading it. I'd read it. I'd drop my truck off and go to work. I'd read it back and forth on the bus to work, on my breaks at home. And I'm like, yo, this movie's coming out in like 2 weeks. So I found the audiobook online, listened to that. And I love how the movie, I know it didn't go directly with the book 100% because it can't. But I love how it took a lot of parts from the book.
Right.
Like, even something as simple as the suit that Pennywise is wearing. That's what they described in the book. I was like, that's awesome.
The I know the part that the original.
Mm-hmm.
It was a TV movie, or miniseries or whatever.
Yep.
So you just couldn't get that full R-rated feeling. And
Yeah.
I've always been of the opinion, if I see it's a horror movie and it's R-rated, I'm in.
Yes, I'm the
going,
same way.
I'm going. Now PG-13. There's been some good PG-13 ones too.
Mm-hmm.
But when I see R-rated, I think it's going to be. They're going to try.
They're going to go to that
really
next
try.
level. They're going to go to that level that they can't do in PG-13, which I mean, I get it. I guess the good thing about movies being PG-13 as far as horror goes, because the younger generation can go and get in there without an adult. They can go there with their friends because, they're embarrassed to go with their parents, whatever. We were all there at one point.
Right.
But at the same time, I'm like, horror should be R-rated just so they can go over the top with that craziness. But sometimes the story's so good you don't even care.
Right.
But yeah, as far as It Chapter 2, I cannot wait for that to come out.
That's one I'm looking forward to. You asked me a minute ago. That's one I am definitely looking forward to.
And I will say this, though. I was wrong. My movie of the year was I said this like last year, was going to be Pet Sematary. I was like, my movie of the year is going to be Pet Sematary. I was like, the people who did It, or I believe they were the ones, doing Pet Sematary. I was like, they did such an excellent job with It. And Pet Sematary, I feel like they dropped it was a good movie. I did enjoy it, but I feel like they dropped the ball with it some.
Did you like the ending?
Yes, I did.
Did you? Okay.
With everybody getting killed, but I have to go back and see the original again. I haven't seen the original since I was a kid. But the thing with that was I had just finished the book and then watched the movie,
okay.
and the book was. I mean,
You're reading a lot. You read a lot.
well, no, I have this. Well, actually, you know what? This is no
Long
promo,
books.
people, right here. They don't pay me for this one. But there's an app. If you have a library card, it's called Libby.
Okay.
It's an audiobook app. You download the app, you put in your library card number, and it'll have like you go in there, you go to the audiobook section, and you can listen to these books for free. You get 2 weeks, you get
Wow.
14 days to listen to them for free, as long as they're not already out. Because some they have like 1 or 2 books, but
Okay.
when they come, you can get on a hold list. And say you listen to a book and you don't finish it within those 14 days, if nobody else wants that book, it'll say, "Do you want to keep the book for
Oh,
another
wow.
14 days?" And
That's really neat.
that's what I do at work. I work on
Oh,
like
wow.
when I'm at work, I work on a computer. I work at the state, so I have a desk job.
Okay.
So
okay.
fun, we all know. But so I have plenty of time to just listen to stuff. I listen to podcasts and stuff like that, and
That's cool.
audiobooks. And I'm just like, I need to start listening to some more horror books. And I
Right.
did
Right.
in this past month. I think I listened to like 6 or 7 books.
Oh, that's cool.
Because there's some days I'll listen to
horror,
it.
Were they all horror related?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
I think it was 6. I did Christine. It. No, I did not it. Sorry, Christine, Pet Cemetery. World War Z.
Oh, cool.
What's Shawshank Redemption? I know that's not horror, but that's another book I listened to. And I know there was like
Stephen
one or
King
oh,
books.
what was the movie? Misery, 5 books. So Misery is the first one.
All those Stephen King books.
Yes. Oh, and Jaws.
great.
Jaws was
Oh,
a
okay.
really good
Okay.
book. But yeah, so that app, everybody, even though you want to you want to read these books, you don't have the time to, but you have downtime at work, or you have time where you can listen to them at work or listen to them in the car.
That's a cool app.
Download it. It's Libby. It's free. I believe it's on Android. I'm sure it's on iTunes too for your iPhone people. Go out there. This is a good reason to get a library card. You go out there, you get a free library card. You download this app. You get to listen to free books. You can't
really
beat. You really can't beat that. If you're a horror fan, go out there and listen to these Stephen King books, like I did.
Cool.
I want to listen to The Shining. I believe that book is out. I have to put it on hold. But that's like one of the next books I'm going to listen to.
That's going to be completely different from the movie, right?
Yeah.
It's going to have a lot of different stuff.
I've seen the movie a handful of times in my life. I did a podcast on it a couple months ago, and that was like the last time I watched that movie was like the first time I've seen that movie since probably my teen years or maybe a kid.
So
but
do you like that one? Do you like that movie?
I do.
Okay.
It was a fun movie, but I heard the book was just bananas, so to speak.
We've had discussions about people go. You have way more people liking the movie than they like the miniseries or whatever was on TV. The TV version.
I never seen that.
I couldn't get past the kid. I was just. I just couldn't get past the kid.
With the movie.
Oh.
I
think the movie was perfect.
Okay.
I love that movie.
But the TV series you didn't like?
What I could stomach, I just couldn't get past it. But they said it was, but they want to say it was truer to the book, like with the topiaries and stuff. And there's no maze in the book. It's all about the topiaries, and so I don't know. I probably could go back and watch it if I could stomach getting past that kid. The kid's just something about him just drove me bonkers.
Okay.
I don't know how to explain.
It's funny you say that because you're just reminding me of a movie where there was a kid in it that I could not stand at all, and it was the Babadook.
Okay. I got about 40 minutes into that, just never got a chance to finish it. Did you enjoy that movie?
It was it was fun. It was a fun movie.
Kid got on your nerves though?
Yeah, I could not stand it. It was one of those things where because he was just always yelling and just annoying. I'm like, just backhand him in the back seat like you would, like we used to get smacked back in the day.
Yeah,
Tell him to shut up.
That's awesome.
But when you said the one kid from the The Shining. Yeah. I'm like, that's the first thing I thought of was that annoying kid. I'm like, oh gosh.
And Rebecca De Mornay was in it. It's like that should make me tip the scale.
But it didn't.
It didn't.
I got to see that. I got to find that and see that because I love
one of the things we talked about. I said I don't want to see it, so now you got to know why doesn't Lance want to see it?
Yep. You know what TV series I did watch? I started watching with my wife I think last year, but we never finished it. We'll watch it here and there, but it was the Friday the 13th TV series.
Okay.
Did you ever see that?
I never saw it.
It's
Never got to see that
it
one.
has nothing to do with Jason at all. It's
Okay.
kind of similar to it's an anthology series. It's an anthology show, and it's real fun. I'm trying to think of how to explain it without not ruining it, but explaining it well.
Okay.
Pretty much, I guess this family owns like this. They sell like antiques, pretty much. They own these, and but the thing is, these antiques have these certain powers,
Okay. Okay.
and they're trying to get them back to their shop because they know the
Okay.
powers they have, and obviously if it gets into the wrong hands, they're gonna do what the thing
And
does.
each show is about the pieces or something.
Yeah, pretty much, and and
Okay.
how they
Okay.
did like the episodes, they get them back, and just it's really really fun. Like when I first heard about it, I was like, holy shit, Friday the 13th, Jason, no Jason, but
Right.
it's really good. It's old. I think it's
I
from like
think
the 90s.
I think that's the once again the journey in my life. It's like I missed out on the Nightmare on Elm Street TV series,
Me
and I
too.
missed out on the Freddy ones too. So I'd like to revisit those.
Me too. Me too. I want to see the Nightmare on Elm Street thing.
Yep.
Speaking of TV series, what do you think about the Child's Play thing that's supposed to be coming out?
Which one is it?
Child's Play. They're doing a
Oh
TV
yeah.
series on that.
I want to see the movie and the TV series.
I'm
Yes.
with you on both of those. Like a lot of people are not the TV series, but a lot of people are really upset about the movie because of the whole
Yeah.
different look. And I'm excited for it because I'm like, it's a you're still getting the original Chucky with the TV series. We're still getting that, and then we're getting a new age thing. It's like what kids would play with now, for example, with the Wi-Fi
Right.
and all that extra stuff on there. I think that's a cool, really cool thing that I just
Like he's going to be controlling a bunch of stuff.
yeah,
That's going to be neat.
it's gonna be
And then
good.
Brad Dorff is going to be back on the TV series, so
Yep.
people can get their fill there. You know.
And I mean, if you're a fan of the Batman series, the Batman animated series, which was one of the best cartoons ever made,
Yep.
my favorite Joker, Mark Hamill,
Mark
is
Hamill. Yep.
a part of the movie. He's doing Chucky's voice, right?
That's where you and David Howard Thornton will get along.
Mark Hamill.
He loves Mark Hamill's Joker.
Oh man, he's just you know what it's. I mean, because I know it's the animated series, but the voice it just fit the character so well.
Yep.
And it's one of those things where I kind of the only thing I wish, I love like I feel like the cartoon was perfect, but I kind of wish that I know this is a little off horror, people. Don't worry, he's a killer clown. I kind of wish it was darker. Like I wish it was more adult rated and darker,
Right.
just because that voice
You
is
know
so
how twisted
sinister.
you know how twisted he can be.
Yes,
Yep. Absolutely.
and oh man, I can go on for days about. I actually got the which I want to get the Blu-ray of it. I got the DVD series of that maybe about 5 years ago. I seen it. I seen it online when it first. I think it was around when it first came out. I was like, I have to because it was growing up, coming home from school, watching that. It was like my favorite series. Like
Right.
everything about it to me was. I would say I'd give that thing a 10 out of 10. Everything
that's
about
awesome.
from the music to the just everything about it was just so great.
Perfect.
And that you know what? That's my favorite Joker, and that's my favorite like Batman character. That's my favorite
That's-
Batman, the voice
I
and
don't know if you
everything.
I don't know if you can see it, but that's my. You see my wedding ring?
Yeah, kind of.
It's Batman's on there.
Nice. And
I'm a Batman guy.
she approved.
She got all that. We got married in football jerseys.
That's beautiful.
And that was her plan.
All right. Now, since you mentioned that, and since you said you would accept my Niners thing earlier before we started recording, who is your team?
The Texans, unfortunately.
Oh,
Houston
okay.
yeah.
I
Feel
thought you were
sorry
gonna.
for me.
No. I actually like your guys' quarterback, Deshaun Watson.
He's awesome.
But no, I thought you were gonna say the Cowboys. I was gonna have to hang up.
Never. I'm a Dallas Cowboy hater.
Good.
Big
Good.
time.
Good. So were you a Titans fan beforehand?
I was an
sorry,
Oilers.
that's what I meant. Oilers.
An Oilers fan, yes. Growing up from the '70s, I was an Oiler fan. And when I can remember the day like yesterday. It scrolled across the ESPN bottom. It said the Tennessee Oilers changed their name to the Nashville Oilers changed their name to the Tennessee Titans. And right there, I was done. Just like that. And they went to the Super Bowl that year.
They lost though.
Yeah, they did lose.
Now, what made you like the Texans?
Just they were at the hometown team. I love
Okay.
the Rockets and the Astros, and
Okay.
I'm right outside of Houston.
Oh,
So
makes sense.
That's my teams.
Makes sense. See, I'm I'm on the opposite coast. I'm a Niners
Yeah,
fan,
you're
but
way over there. That's weird.
you know what it is? Honestly, my favorite color is red, And
Okay.
I guess I don't know what made me a Niners fan. I guess I seen them on TV. Oh, they got red jerseys. Cool. Boom. Niners.
Latched on.
Yeah. I'm guessing that's the reason why. I really have no idea why. I'm just it's stuck on and hey.
And that's kind of cool too because the Jets and the Giants have had success. So you can't really say you picked the San Fran because the Jets and the Giants suck because they've been good too. At some point or another, they were
Yeah.
good.
Yeah,
You
that's
know.
true.
So
I don't like them. I can't stand the Giants. I don't.
that's awesome.
The Jets don't bother me as much. And then Buffalo's the only to me. Buffalo's the only legitimate New York football team because they're in
Right.
the state of New York. The other two put
Right.
their home field in New Jersey.
Right. Right. It don't make any sense.
It does. They're just Jersey Jets and Jersey Giants. Just do it.
That's right.
Make
That's
the
a horror
change.
story in there somewhere, right?
Yeah. Speaking of horror stories, it's yesterday I did a podcast with my friend Chris on his podcast called Stories from a Bar. Great podcast. I'll send you the links for those too, for his and my other friend I was telling you about, which Anthony, Video Game Crosstalk.
Okay.
But we recorded at a brewery out here yesterday for his podcast. We got a little,
I think I saw that. I saw that.
yeah. We got,
Yeah.
but we got to go on a little tour. I was not expecting it. He wasn't expecting it until they showed us around the brewery and stuff. And there's a part of the brewery where it looks like a little lab. And with my brain, the first thing I'm thinking of is a horror movie. I'm just like, this would make such an amazing horror movie. I'm like,
That's
it would be
awesome.
cool. I mentioned on his podcast, I believe. Yeah, I did. Is like, say, you have a brewery. Because, breweries are popping up all over nowadays. But you have,
Right.
say you have a main brewery. And this brewery is trying to either, so I said two different stories. I said one story, say they're trying to, you go in there, me and you go in there, get a beer. And whatever they put in the beer takes over your mind. And you'll go to other breweries and try to destroy those breweries and kill them. So that this brewery can take over this brewery. And I was like, or if they just control you to do whatever you want, or you drink it and you just die. Like within 24 hours, you die.
You better copyright that. Those are killer ideas.
And I'm just, hey, Sam, when you listen to this episode, write these ideas down and make it into a movie. One independent
There you
horror.
go.
There you go. Sam,
lots
take
of
it
fake
over.
blood. Lots of fake blood.
Yes. I'm just like, my brain, sometimes I'm out and about, like, I kind of stop doing it. It just goes
That's
straight to
awesome.
that. Oh, man, that was so cool, though.
And the practical effects thing too that we were talking about earlier.
Mhm.
The Thing did it for me back when I saw The Thing the first time.
Oh, yes.
That's when I fell in love with practical effects. I was like, that's how you do it right there.
The practical effects in that was so amazing. The one from,
Amazing.
was the 80s and the 2000 version, 2000 and something.
But they did CGI more in that one, didn't they? I think.
I think both.
Okay.
I think both. But yes, the 80s one. And another movie, great transformation, was American Werewolf in London.
Agreed. Absolutely agreed.
I was like, wow.
David Naughton. Remember that TV show he was on, Making It? That TV show? And he was the greatest transformation ever. And that's in our opinion, whatever.
No,
But
that
the Howling had some good ones too with Dee Wallace in it.
I'm
That had some good ones.
I got to see that.
That's a good. And I want to say that came out about the same time,
Okay.
about the same year.
What it is with me too with the practical effects, like from the 80s, and then the stuff with the CGI now, it's just like, it's so cool because a lot of the things they did, it seems so simple, but
Right.
Friday the 13th part, the original, and they cut off Jason's mother's head. It was just a thing on toothpicks, and when they're cutting off the head, they're saying it was a guy that was cutting the head off. You see his knuckles because I watched some of the documentary. You don't
Right.
catch. I never caught that watching the movie, and then when they see it, I always forget to look for it because I don't even think about it.
It's always so quick. Yeah, it's so quick.
It's just, I gotta,
Brilliant stuff.
I gotta think of the movie that this happened with for me. Oh, as a matter of fact, it was Terrifier. Have you ever watched a horror movie? You know the, excuse me. You know what's gonna happen in the movie because you've seen the movie before, but you go back and watch it, you think something different's, different's gonna happen. Okay, so for me it was Terrifier. Now you remember when Art was with the remember the homeless lady with the doll, and he gets the doll and he's like rocking it.
Right.
First time I see it, I was like, he's gonna smash her face. Second time I seen it, I knew what was gonna happen, but I was like, he's gonna smash her face. Like it's just gonna change it. I just think that. I was like, that's oh man.
I cannot wait for Terrifier 2. I
You
think that is going
and
to
me.
be just unhinged.
I think it's gonna be wild. I think
Yep.
it's just gonna. And the crazy thing is, they still don't have like a backstory for him at all right now.
I hope they don't do that either. I hope they keep it kind of like we don't know why he's doing what he's doing. I really do.
I'm in the middle. Like that wouldn't bother me.
You want to know?
But at the same time, if they gave us, say they made it a franchise, right? Say they did like 4 or 5 movies. If they gave us a little bit for each movie, that would be kind of cool. It's just kind of little clues. And maybe even throwbacks to the movie from beforehand. But little clues would be cool. I'd be cool with either one. I do want this to be the next like iconic horror franchise slasher.
I was just gonna. I swear we're like brain twins. I was gonna ask you, is that like? Don't you see that happening?
I do. I really do.
See it happening?
And we haven't had one in years. Right. Probably since the big 3, Jason, Michael, and Freddy. Well,
if
actually,
you want to see another fun one about clowns, and I talked about it on that podcast yesterday. Circus of the Dead.
Circus of the Dead. I will have to check that out.
Billy Pawn is the writer director. Twisted Mind. Bill Oberst Jr. Oberst Jr. I believe is like Popcorn, who's like kind of like Art the Clown. Completely
crazy.
If you're gonna watch Circus of the Dead, I highly recommend you sit down and watch it. It is disturbingly awesome.
Oh, I gotta see that. I have to see that.
I'm trumpeting that for Billy because Billy's such a great guy. You know, follow him on social media and stuff.
And
he just I think he's on the cusp of beating cancer too. So I'm really happy for him.
Congratulations on that. That's huge.
So I really want people to watch this movie because it's really, really good.
Well,
and Parrish Randall's in it too, and he had his birthday yesterday. Happy birthday, Parrish.
Yes, happy birthday.
He's in it, and he's a funny little actor, and he's great. He's really awesome. I visited with him before.
That's cool. So you just keep coming up with these lists of movies.
Too. You know, I just got as we go, it's all popping in my head.
Hey, I love it though. It's just more movies we're gonna have to review. Yep. That's all it is.
Zombie said she's mad at me because all the movies I keep saying her list keeps getting longer.
Yes,
longer.
I'm the same. I'm not getting mad, but I'm just like, this is just more and more horror I have to watch. But I have a podcast. I have to talk about it. I'm definitely gonna have you on again.
Awesome.
Plenty of times because you have so many damn movies.
And it grows daily. She bought me the whole Tales of the Crypt series, plus some other stuff. She really spoils me. I have a great wife.
You and me both. My wife Frances, she actually So with with this podcast, it first started out as like me just doing like unboxing videos on Facebook Live. And that's also because of my wife, but well, because she would get me like I did like Horror Block and I did Horror Box. Horror Box would give you like Blu-ray. Well, they wouldn't give you them; you'd pay for them. But either 4 Blu-rays or 4 DVDs a month, you wouldn't know what you're getting. Open them up, and I would unbox those. And then Horror Block, you would get a shirt, bunch of random trinkets, Rue Morgue magazine, and I said a shirt and a movie at times. So I would do those and do a bunch of them. That's how I got a lot of my movie collection. That's where that came from. And like my horror shirts, I know I'm wearing Ninja Turtles now, but a lot of my horror shirts you will see me wearing is from these boxes. And I'm actually doing one now called Fright Crate.
Okay, yeah.
This is. She told me yesterday, she's like, hey, I just ordered your Fright Crate box, your second Fright Crate box. The first one's gonna be sent out, I think, this coming week, which I cannot wait to get.
Do you unbox those still, or do you?
I'm because the other boxes I stopped doing, but I'm gonna start doing those. But I'm not gonna do them on Facebook Live anymore. I'm gonna do because I want my YouTube because this goes on YouTube. Like this is actually gonna be the first. Hey, look at this. You're gonna be my first YouTube podcast video.
Honored. That's so cool.
I just found out last week. I was talking to my brother. I was like, "Hey, go on Skype real quick. I want to see." I seen YouTube videos, or whatever, how you can record on Skype. So I'm like, "Okay, let me put this on here and see how it works." And now, this is going to be on YouTube. I'm not sure when exactly. I'll keep you posted on that because I kind of want it to come out at the same time as the episode.
Okay.
Or maybe even a day after. But yeah. So.
That's awesome.
That's
awesome.
And real quick with this, the podcast I was recording on yesterday, I dropped the news. I was like, I got big news. I was like, from now on, when I do my videos or my podcast, I'm going to start doing videos and recording on Skype. So I figured out how to do that, and I'm going to start putting those on YouTube.
Awesome.
But, oh, man, I just love this so much, man. Like,
you can tell.
It's one of those things where it's just a fun hobby. And I remember going back to ScareCon when I was on that panel I was telling you about. So we were on a podcasting panel, the very first panel, and someone was like, "Hey, do you make money off of this?" And I was like, "If you're going into this for the money, don't do it. I said because you will be very disappointed. You're not. I'm like I haven't made a dime off of this. I'm doing it as a hobby. I'm doing it as a passion. Now, if I end up getting some sponsors or whatever, or ads and all that good stuff, more ads. Shout out to the GNR thing. That's awesome.
There you go.
But where they're like, hey, we want you to say this and we'll pay you. I'm not going to say no.
Right.
Because now my hobby's helping me get money, which would pay. Pretty much, if I made money off of this, it would go into this hobby.
Right.
So it would just be like, okay, I don't have to take this out of my paycheck anymore. I can just from my hobby. My hobby's paying for itself. My hobby is like my hobby has a job, I guess. Wish my dog would get one.
It's something you love,
Exactly.
That's awesome.
But I told him, I was like, listen, I was like, if you really want to start a podcast, I was like, do it because you want to do it for the passion and to have a great time. No matter what, I was like, it was at the HorrorCon, but I was like, no matter what kind of podcast you're starting, do it because it's a passion. You want to have a great time with it. Don't look at about it for the financial benefits. I said, because if you look at anything, well, as far as the podcast goes, if you look at that for a financial benefit, you're not really going to put your all into it.
Correct.
Because, like, you might for the first, let's say, 4 episodes. And then you see how much work it is, and you're going to be like, you know what? I didn't make $1 off of this. Why am I doing this? Versus if you're doing this because it's fun, because you love it, because the passion, because you get cool people like yourself on here talking horror for hours. You could talk about this for hours.
That's awesome.
And it's like, do it for that reason, and it's more rewarding. Sometimes money isn't everything. That's what people need to learn. Yes, it pays your bill. I mean, you need it. We do need it, but money's not what makes me happy.
Right.
And it's like, just this goes out to any type of podcaster, whether it's horror, whatever hobby you want to get into, do it because you have that passion for it and you want to have fun with it. And hey, it could be because family. Something like me, for another example, like me, I love drag racing. Love it. My father got me into it. And we're working on a 71 Camaro, the split bumper Camaros.
Oh, wow.
Which is going to be for the drag strip and street. And I have he bought an 87 Trans Am GTA, brand new, back. I was like 2 years old when he got this car. And it's my car now. So that's like street and strip, but that car is 100% original. So I'm not cutting it up. I'm not putting a cape, nothing. That's going to be like that. But that, like, I'm getting into that. I'll be spending money doing that. But yeah, if you win, you go to races. If you win, you can win money. But I mean, don't get me wrong. I want to win, but I'm doing it just because I'm passionate. I just love it. It's the passion for it. If I didn't make $1 off of it, which I'm not, but you know what I mean. Like, say if I never won a race ever or never won it all, I would still do it because it's just fun.
Beautiful cars too, Such beautiful cars.
Yes, muscle cars. Love them.
Yes, the best.
And here's how. See, with this podcast, we always get on random tangents, and here's how I'm gonna throw it back into horror. Muscle cars are great in horror movies.
Absolutely.
It's a strong car, and they're at that age. Like I said, a 71 Camaro, you could say a 69 Camaro, whatever, Chevelles, Mustangs, anything. They can go from those old horror movies from the 60s, from the late 60s, early 70s, up till now, and that car is still gonna be a badass car in the movie.
Yes, absolutely.
I think that's one thing. That's probably the only thing that in horror movies, action movies, that bothers me is when the car gets destroyed. It's like,
Don't destroy the car.
It's like, but what about the kid that got killed by such and such? Well, look, that car did nothing wrong.
Nothing.
That kid talked back. That kid didn't listen.
That's right.
These people over here, they, it says do not enter. What did they do? They entered.
They were warned.
That car, we control that car. You drove that car in there.
Oh, man. Don't destroy the car.
Yeah, put that to the side. It's like cars and animals. Put those to the side.
Exactly.
People, you know what you're doing.
Uh-oh.
Was that my dog or your dog?
That was my dog. That was one of my deaf dogs, which calls the other dogs in.
Oh, that's nice of him.
Yeah, my deaf dog barks because she's disturbed by something. I haven't figured that out yet.
Oh, man. Gotta love it. Animals are like children.
They're the best. We have a bunch of them.
Children or animals?
Both. We have 3 dogs, 3 cats.
Oh, nice.
A turtle. We have kids.
What kind of turtle?
Just a red-eared slider.
My brother has one. I believe it's a red-eared slider. He had this thing for years, and he just finally set up the heat lamps for it.
Oh, okay.
This thing is like this big. Yeah. This big. And he set up the heat lamps for it, and he got like this big I guess what do they call it, like a horse trough type of thing?
Okay.
Like 100. It's like 100-gallon thing for it,
Oh wow.
just because so it can move around. Because he had it in like those the bins you can get from Walmart. You just store a bunch of crap in. He had it in that for
Right.
years, and he put it. It got big, and it still survived it. He had it since it was
It's gonna get big. Yeah.
that big.
That's about how big ours was, and it's gonna get big it's gonna adapt to
Yep.
his tank.
Yep.
He's gonna be a big turtle.
She already is, and those things, man, I love them. I don't
They're
want
awesome.
any. I just have a
Right.
dog. He's downstairs chilling. I don't know what he's doing.
That's awesome.
He's not working, but
Right.
I wish. And there's no excuse.
So,
There's no because he can be in a horror movie. He can be in a movie.
exactly.
Just apply himself, but he won't. He's lazy.
That's good stuff.
Oh
That's
man.
awesome.
Okay, now jumping back into horror, people, so you guys don't complain and cry, which you won't. Horror matchup. I want to do a podcast with you. I'm not ending the episode now. I want to do a podcast. Jason versus Michael.
Oh, golly. That would be just. And I think Michael would have a chance. I really do.
I even have like a setup for the story. I mentioned this on my podcast a few times. I was saying the way this can work is Michael's always following Laurie Strode wherever she goes. I have no idea how he knows where the hell she goes, but for whatever reason, she goes to Camp Crystal Lake. It's under a new name.
Okay.
Years later, people forgot about Jason. She knows nothing about Jason. It's under a new name.
Okay.
She goes there with her and her family or whoever. Of course, you have the other people there for I like to call them the random kill-offs. That's the one thing I love.
Right.
You have to have the random kill-off characters.
Oh, they're gonna die.
Yeah.
They're gonna die.
So she knows people end up missing. She thinks it's Michael. She sees Jason from a distance. And then she sees Jason with his mask, and she's like, "That's not Michael." And then Michael somehow shows up. He kills people. Jason kills people. They fight.
Okay.
More of a deeper story than that, but I'm just saying because like Jason doesn't leave Camp Crystal Lake. He did in Freddy vs. Jason. That's because Freddy pretended he was his mother and all that other stuff. But he's not gonna go all the way to Haddonfield. Jason has no business over, and he can't drive.
Right. Not like Michael.
No, I would not teach either one of them how to drive. And nor would I pick them up in an Uber. Like, no,
Right.
absolutely not. You stay outside.
I really think Michael would have a chance. I really do.
I would love to watch that battle. It would be such a fun.
I think Jason would come out on top, but I think Michael would. He would have a fighting chance.
Yeah, I agree. And people would say, like, how would it work? Because neither one of them talk. You really don't need them to talk. They can meet up. You have all the other characters that can talk and do all that silly stuff. And you have the funny characters. You have the easy kill-offs. You have the teens having sex in the woods. They get killed.
They die.
And just...
But the thing you got to remember is you got to have which those got all shot down, but you got to have that Michael that's been just through the ringer.
Mm-hmm.
That he's not really human anymore. He's not. There's no way he's human. There's just no way.
I agree.
Or Jason would take him out quick.
And
know what I mean?
the same, you'd have to have like the zombie Jason from when Kane Hodder first started playing Jason. Let's say part 6.
There you go.
No, 7. I was right the first time. Part 7. That would be such an epic battle.
Epic.
It would just be like, wow, this was great.
That's a good setup. That's a really good setup.
Sam, that's another idea for you.
You better start copywriting this stuff.
I just throw these ideas out there because I would love to see it on film.
Right.
I would just love it. Just come interview me on the podcast. That's it. I mean, if you want to throw me some money, cool. But you heard it here first.
That's awesome.
And it's just, I just feel like that would be such a great battle. I'll say one thing though. Michael has to get a bigger weapon than his kitchen knife because that machete.
Right. It's gonna cut through him.
Jason's gonna just look at it, just like I don't know what you're gonna do with that, sir.
It better be a Ginsu if he's gonna use it.
Yeah, something. You know what I like about Jason too was like I like how in all the movies, like the different kills and all that, he adapts to the environment. Like he'll kill you with a tree branch.
Right.
Michael did with the Rob Zombie remake, but he'll kill you with a tree branch. He'll kill you with a garden tool, which he killed Deborah Voorhees with the shears, and she has the horror group Deborah's.
After she had sex.
Yes. But Deborah's, what is it called? Her horror group has Deborah's Sheer Horror or something, which is cool.
Right. That's really cool.
And I'm just, oh man, that was a cool kill, by the way.
I like the sleeping bag kill. That was a good kill
Which one?
with Jason.
No. I mean the remake or
Yeah,
the
yeah, that was
original.
a good. Yes, I did like the remake. I'm one of those. I like the remake.
Oh, I love remakes.
I loved it.
See, the original Sleeping Bag Kill where he slapped her up against the tree. Well,
Yeah.
not slapped, slammed her up against the tree.
Right.
That was a good one. And then I loved with the remake. What I did love was the kills, and I loved how he had like the underground thing set up because he was.
Right.
You're
That
wondering
was
like
cool.
how the hell's this guy getting everywhere so fast all the time?
Right.
And I like that. I like how that sleeping bag kill was amazing. He hung her upside down
was.
over the fire, the campfire
Yep.
kill. That was beautiful.
That was a good kill.
Beautiful.
And that was Derek Mears, right? Wasn't he?
Yeah.
Was he Jason in that one?
Yep.
And he's the new Swamp Thing, right?
I'm not sure.
I believe he is. And
Nice.
I think that's coming out soon too.
Nice.
I'm
That-
looking forward to that.
You know what? Jumping back to Freddy vs. Jason, Kane Hodder was originally supposed to play Jason in that. No disrespect to the gentleman who did play Jason in that movie.
Right.
I don't remember who it was, but the guy who played Jason in that movie was in part. Let me think. Which Jason movie was it where he went to the little was it? He went to the little diner and he killed somebody in the diner. He threw like a big guy up against the mirror.
Was that Goes to Hell? Jason Goes to
I
Hell.
want to say it was. I think it was.
Is that right?
Or is it I don't think it was 8. Was it? It was either.
That was Jason Takes Manhattan. Was 8.
Yeah, it wasn't that. I don't think it was that one. It was. I know it was Kane Hodder.
Okay.
But anyways, what I'm getting at is, and people may leave the comments of which Jason movie it was. I want to say 9, but I don't remember. I haven't watched them in
They should know.
a little bit. But anyway, the guy who he threw up against the mirror is the guy who played Jason in Freddy vs. Jason,
Oh, okay.
which is
cool.
kind of cool. But Kane Hodder was supposed to play. I don't know why they screwed up. I think because the size difference, because the guy was so much bigger than Freddy.
They wanted to tower over Freddy.
Yeah, but still, like, who didn't want to see Robert Englund and Kane Hodder go at it?
Hodder go at it. Yeah.
That's what everybody wanted to see, and
Yep.
that's one thing that really bothered. But I did enjoy the movie. Don't get me wrong. That's one of the other ones I was like towards the bottom of the list. Not the worst, but it was towards because I put that in the Freddy vs. Jason countdown, and when I eventually do the Nightmare on Elm Street countdown, it's going to be on that list too.
I enjoyed the that one scene where all the kids are doped up,
Mhm.
and they all sit up and stuff, and that I think they had their eyes covered. I love that. That was a great scene.
Mhm.
I think it was a dream sequence, I believe.
Yeah,
But when they all sat up, and they started whispering
and
that
pointing,
was
right?
really creepy, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Really creepy.
Yes, that was.
I
oh,
did
man.
like that.
I actually got to meet Robert one time,
Royalty.
and I
Golly.
actually met him last year at this. It's called Empire State Comic Con.
Okay.
I got to meet him and Amanda Wiss, which she's so freaking nice.
Oh, she is.
And I think this is funny. My brother doesn't, but he moved to Colorado maybe a month or two before the con, and he heard about they already obviously you can't just move out of state and not have plans, but they had the plans to move and all this stuff. He was so upset and mad.
You get to meet him.
But what he did though was he has a glove from Dream Warrior, so he left that here. We got it. So my wife got it signed for him, and then she made like a shadow box for him. And
The actual glove from the movie, or
well, no, a replica.
That version.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, if it was the actual glove, that would have been
Man.
even more amazing.
I was
But
about to lose my shit.
but yeah, so we got that signed for him, and then she made him like a shadow, the shadow box things.
Right.
She made him one of those. She put the glove in it. I want to say she put some other stuff in it too that had to do with Nightmare on Elm Street, and we sent it to him. He freaking loved it.
Oh, that's awesome.
He was so happy about that. And then
That is one of my favorite nightmares too. Is part 3. That's absolutely one of my favorites.
same here. And then
Man.
we met Ken Sagos, which he played a Kincaid in part 3.
Right.
First, such a
He
nice
seemed
guy.
like a really cool dude.
He is. I met him at Scarecon this past October with my wife, and well, for one, I got to buy him some fried chicken, some delicious fried chicken at that. Which how many fans can say that? I can brag about
Right.
that.
That's awesome.
But me and him were joking around the 3-day weekend, joking around the whole weekend. He'd call, hey Aaron, come over to my table, come hang out for a little bit. so
Wow.
freaking cool. And I asked him, I was like, hey, I'd love to have you on my podcast one day. And I explained to him what the podcast was because he wasn't sure what it was. And he was like, hey, I was like, I'm recording over at my table if you would, hey. He's like, hey, you know what? I got about a half hour. Let's go.
Oh, that's cool.
And he
That's
came
cool.
over to my table, and I was so honored because he's there signing autographs, making money. He took the time out, a half hour, 20 minutes, whatever it was. I believe it was like a half hour to come over there, chit chat with me, and record, which the episode is out, and just talk horror and all kinds of stuff. And he's such a nice guy. Another cool thing he did, my wife she asked me, she's like, hey, do you think he would call, my brother's name is Henry. Do you think he would call Henry and talk to him on his
that's
break?
cool.
I was like, I don't know. So we went up and we asked him. He was like, hey, she was like, hey, my brother-in-law, he lives out in Colorado, so he couldn't, he obviously couldn't make the con. And he's a huge fan. Actually, this is Dream Warriors is his favorite. Nightmare on Elm Street is his favorite. Like Freddy's his favorite. And she was like, would you call my brother-in-law? He was like, yeah. So I gave him my phone, called him, and he was happy as hell. Like after he talked to him, he was just like, thank you guys so much. I was like, honestly, you know how I like stealing credit, but my wife's right next to me. It was her idea. But quick little funny story to go on to that. I was on a panel. It was me, my brother Rob, and a good friend Matt. We did a panel for Halloween.
Okay. Oh,
For
awesome.
the Rob Zombie one, the first one. We were like in a small room, and we did a panel before the movie. So we were talking about that. We talked about other random horror stuff. But I asked, my question was like, who was at this con? Like, who do you really want to meet? And if you've met anybody, who was like your favorite person? I was like, we all went first, and I was like, for me, it was Ken Sago. So I told them why, and I was like, well, at one point, I was like, he called my brother and talked to my brother, and I was like, my brother was crying on the phone. He passed out. I was like,
Oh, wow.
I made that part up, but I told them, I was like, I could be telling the truth, I could be lying, but you'll never know. So I had to tell him about it. He's like, yo, you're an asshole. He was laughing though. I was like, you weren't there to defend yourself. You would have did the same
right.
thing.
That's right.
But it was just the horror community, man. It's so beautiful how, again, going back to how friendly everybody is, from the actors and actresses, the directors, to us fans.
Right.
And I like how they make us feel important, which, I mean, we are, because we purchase the products, we purchase the movies, we go to these cons and stuff, and they give us all this amazing, awesome content. And
That's right.
it's just so awesome how humble they are, because
Like you said, we could talk about it for hours. I mean, you could literally
yes,
talk about it. And if you don't like something, there's something, you're gonna like this movie. You're gonna like Italian horror. You're gonna like the 50s, the 60s. The big monsters, the Godzillas. Somebody likes a horror movie of some sort that you can just talk about for hours.
exactly. And like what I do like about horror, and I don't mind, like, say, I'll just use Michael and Jason for example. Say you didn't like Jason at all, I don't like Michael at all. I can debate those movies with you. A friendly debate, not get mad about it, not bash you, like say you're stupid for liking this. I can say, how can you like this movie because, but I don't say you're dumb for liking this movie.
Right.
But this is a quick story. Another quick story. This is from actually the Empire State Comic Con, where I met my friend Matt, and he's been on this podcast plenty of times. He actually has a podcast. Him and his friends called 22 Shots of Movies and Horror, so shout out to them. But we actually taken pictures at ScareCon together plenty of time the past few years before we met. I don't know why we didn't exchange information, names, nothing, because he used to have this he still has it. It's the Gremlin.
Okay.
And he would carry it in a baby carrier. I was like, that's awesome. Like, can we take a picture with you? He's like, oh, of course. And so he came to this con up in Albany. He's about an hour and a half, 2 hours away, because Robert Englund's up here. And we just happened to be I had the VIP pass. I was helping my one friend out, but I was waiting in line with my wife. Or I had not the VIP pass, I had a press pass because I was helping my friend out. But I was waiting in line with my wife, and we were just talking. I started talking to Matt. I don't know how it came up. Thanksgiving was the movie that came up.
Okay.
That's what started our friendship.
That's cool.
And we were just talking about random horror movies. That came up. But there was a guy in line. He had like a big suitcase full of stuff he wanted Robert to sign. Cool. I don't care about that part. No. But the guy was he was one of those type of people who was he only watches like the big name horror movies. Okay. That's cool and all. But the way he was like, we were talking about Thanksgiving, and he jumped in the conversation, which is cool. I don't care. But he was like, how can you guys waste your time watching that movie? I would never waste my time watching those kind of movies. They're dumb, blah, blah, blah. Just kind of that. So, we just ignored him. Just kept talking about Thanksgiving because I'm like, I don't want to get out of character here, and it's not worth it.
Right.
Like,
And that's
whatever,
what I'm
man.
saying. Like, if you don't, not everybody's gonna like everything,
Yeah,
and like someone like that, that's not cool because there could be a reason why you really latched onto a movie.
yeah,
There could be you went and saw the movie with your dad. You went and saw with your mom. There could be
exactly.
a reason why you like that movie. It could be the very first movie you've ever seen in your life.
Hmm.
And when someone rails on it, you get defensive a little bit. But like you said, it's few and far between.
Yeah.
You've got your trolls and you got your guys that just pretend to be trolls.
Hmm.
Like I know a guy named Freddie Torres. He tries to troll everybody, but deep down inside he's got a heart of gold, and
Hmm.
he's glad that everybody loves horror.
Yeah.
And he just has fun with it.
Well,
But
yeah.
then you got people that hate on your decision to like something, and those kind of people ain't cool.
See, with me, I don't mind different opinions. Again, like if you want to bash a movie I love, that's perfectly fine with me.
Right, right.
Don't I say if you want to bash, and I'm not by bash the movie, I don't mean disrespecting the art or anything, but you want to bash that movie, except for Tales from the Hood 2, hated it.
Not the first person to say that.
Probably won't be the last. But no, all joking aside though, like I'm fine with a friendly debate. I'm fine. I just don't like when people start, I guess, being rude or negative towards each other.
Right, right, right.
I'm just with horror. I'm speaking, but it's like, oh, you're stupid because you like, you know what I mean? Stuff like, I'm like, come on now, just talk shit about. If you don't like the movie, talk shit about the movie. I'll
Right.
big it up. You talk shit about it, or vice versa. Let's have fun
Right.
about it and go on with a different movie.
And that's where I've come. Like, I guess as I get older, I see more of. I'm trying to see the good things. I'm
Mhm.
trying to, like I may have told you, someone may find everything wrong with a movie, and it could have 80% wrong things with it. I'm going to find the 20%. I'm going to find the
Mhm.
good stuff in it, and I want to bring that out, and I want to celebrate that because I just don't think it's almost like a kid.
Mhm.
These people are with love and with their bare hands, with every penny they have or
Yeah.
every credit card they have. They're making their kids, and then you come out and you bash it, and I'm like, how can you? I mean, how can you be so rude to bash something that somebody loved making? And I want to make. Let's look at the good stuff.
Yeah.
Let's
See,
find the good stuff in it.
I'm
know
gonna.
what I mean?
Yeah. No, I get it. I'm gonna go back to that movie that I did mention, Tales from the Hood 2. My brother and I, what did we reviewed the movie. Neither one of us liked it, and the first one loved it. First one was just so great.
It's class. I think it's a classic.
It is. But like with the second one, we tried to think of the positives from the second. What was it? The second story they did. Loved the jacket.
Okay. Okay.
Like we would try to find some positive, but it'd be funny. But overall, we didn't like the movie, and we even did an open. I'm gonna say this again. We have an open challenge to any person or people who, not people who thought the movie was okay or like, the movie was good, I can watch it again. People who really loved the movie, we want to do a friendly debate with them. Like I said, nothing disrespectful,
Oh, okay. Okay.
but a friendly debate with them for people who really loved the movie because we hated it, and just go
I haven't
back and
found
forth on the
can't find
podcast.
anybody. I can't give you anybody.
Me, I
I've
know,
not seen one positive about it.
and it. I
It's
mean,
unfortunate,
you know what it is too. I think the part that's most disappointing is because it was like the original director and stuff with it,
right.
and I don't know. And it's one of those movies.
They lost something along the way.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
they did. It's
I'm
one of
hearing
those
the same
movies.
stuff about Death House. Have you heard about Death House yet?
I did. I heard good. I heard good and bad about that. I heard a lot of bad, and one good. I'll say that.
I've
My
heard
brother. It's
I
on.
heard a lot of bad.
It's actually on Netflix now. I heard.
Yeah,
I'm
and
gonna-
there's been 4 copies at the Walmart. We go every Sunday. We go to the movie section and
Mhm.
just scour it. I mean, we go through it with a fine tooth comb. The 4 same copies have been there, so I'm ready for them to be thrown into the $3.74 bin.
That's when you're gonna get it.
It's got an amazing cast.
It
And
does.
the only issue, I kind of feel bad because I've built that Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the Saw's family. I kind of feel like I'm in that family.
Mhm.
And a couple of about 2 months ago, they had that Bad Anger Pictures we were talking about with Ron Scott and Dan Yeager. They had a Facebook Live thing, and they had John Dugan on there, who was actually Grandpa from the first Texas Chainsaw
Wow.
Massacre. And he was, and so Joe Ridgely, who's an amazing podcaster as well, he asked him just flat out. He said, "Hey, what do you think about?" And just it was an innocent question. He goes, "What do you think about Death House?" And Dugan lost his shit. I mean, he lost. And what happened was, it was written. The idea was all put out there by Gunnar Hansen. Gunnar Hansen passed away, and the guy that, and I forget the guy's name, it escapes me. The guy that wrote it and directed it, he took the idea and just absolutely
Uh,
lost Gunner's what Gunner wanted, but the worst thing for Dugan was that he didn't reach out and get any of the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre people, and I think that's what really stuck it to him about the movie. So that's not when people are like, when you see the couple people say they like Death House, and I'm like, I kind of feel like I'd be turning my back on John if I got it, you know what I mean, or if I watched it, because he really, I mean, you should have seen his reaction. It was not pleasant.
I get it, but I would say I'm gonna watch it. It's on Netflix. My brother said it was pretty good, and I mean, it does have a good. I know for a fact, Felissa Rose, she's in it. I know Kane Hodder's in it.
Tons of people in it.
Yeah, and Felissa. Oh my god, I met her at least twice. She is so freaking sweet. She's so
like,
nice. She loves those cons. I actually got to meet Kane Hodder once too, which was just.
Oh man.
Did you get a chance to meet him?
No, I would love to meet Kane.
I want to meet him again. I gotta, oh man, me and these damn stories. I got another story. This is like a two-parter
Awesome.
with Kane Hodder. Okay, so first, I'm in line waiting. I actually got this is. Hey, hang on, listen to this. I just remember this part. So I'm in line waiting with my wife, waiting to go get his autograph. I got a machete sign.
Oh wow.
And this was a con. It was Monster Mania out in New Jersey.
Okay.
And my brother couldn't make this one because my nephew had just been born maybe a couple months before, so he couldn't make that one. And so he gave us money to get him some autographs, and Kane Hodder was one of the autographs he wanted. And I'm in line. I'm texting him like, "Hey," I'm like, "Hey, do you want a picture? Or do you want a machete?" He was like, he was like, "I want a machete, but I don't know what I want him to say on it." I was like, "Yo, Jason had 0 lines. What are you talking about?
That's awesome.
What are you talking
and
about?"
What did you say?
He was like, "Oh yeah, I forgot."
That's awesome.
But anyway, I get up to the line. Like, there's one person in front of me. I get up to the line, and Bam Margera walks into another door, like coming from outside.
Wow.
And Kane's like, "Listen," he was like, "Can you please give me like 2 minutes? I'm gonna go over there and choke Bam." You know how Kane does the choke for fans. So I was like, "Okay, awesome, cool." So he goes over there, he talks to Bam for a minute, and he chokes him. And he comes back, talks to me and all this stuff, gives me my autographs. Amazing, such a nice guy. Gives me my autographs, and then I go about my business. Second part of the story. Later on that day, I have to use the bathroom. I have to drop a number 2. There's a reason why I'm telling you this. So I go into the stall, lock the stall, go in there, use the bathroom, whatever. Hear somebody come in. Hear people come in, whatever. That's normal. Kane Hodder comes in the bathroom, goes to the urinal. Again, I'm in the stall thing, doing my business. And I don't know if he was standing next to this person or not, but he was like, "Wow, nice cock." I started dying. I lost my damn mind.
Oh wow.
And so I asked both of my brothers this, and I'm going to ask you this. If Kane Hodder, or say for you, because Michael Myers is your favorite Michael Myers, if he said that to you, do you say thank you?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That was my first question. Even though, like, just it's a joke. He probably wasn't even really standing by him looking, whatever. My second question is, would you tell anybody?
Absolutely. I'd brag about it. Absolutely.
I'm asking that because
sure.
we all know as men, the urinal rule. If there's 3 urinals, you use the ones on the ends. If somebody's using the middle one, you just gotta wait, or you go in the bathroom.
That's right. That's awesome. Oh yeah, I'm a social media whore. I'd be all over the place with that one.
Yep.
It would be Instagrammed. It would be tweeted out. Yeah. That's awesome.
Oh man, I was
How
just like,
did you answer?
I think I said thank you, or I would brag about it. My brothers, they both joked. One of them was like, "Hey, do you want to sign it?"
That's awesome.
But it's one of those things where like, and this is no disrespect to the LGBTQ community, because this was all jokes. No, but we were like, it's not gay because it's Kane Hodder saying.
Right. Yeah, no.
But man,
all in good fun.
it was it was just so hilarious, and just again, that's just somebody that's humble, that loves his craft, loves the fans, and just has a good time, has fun, laughs. Right. And I just can't wait to go to another con. I cannot wait.
So much fun. So much fun.
Now like I said, I brought my podcast to the one con, Scaricon, and they have 2 a year. They have one in New England, Massachusetts, or whatever, and they have one in Rochester, New York now. And I want to go to.
Got to get with Ron Scott and Dan Yeager. I'm telling you, they're probably going to be at those.
They'll probably. I'm gonna try to. You're gonna have to remind me.
Be at those.
Send me a message on Facebook or whatever.
Okay.
Are they on Facebook too?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh yeah, send me a message on Facebook or even tag me in a post on Facebook and I'll reach out to them because I'd love to. I'd love to talk to them. But I'm gonna be bringing my podcast to that con. Like hopefully this one in June is the last one I miss, and then I'll be going to both of them with my wife every year from here on out.
Y'all have so many up there that is so cool.
Hey man, if you can ever make a trip, you know what I'll say to you? If you can ever make a trip up to New York or Jersey, Monster Mania is a bigger con, great con. I'd tell you, if you can go to that, go to that. If you can come to ScareCon, definitely check it out.
Okay.
It's worth the trip. Like it's one of those things where it's this is like Disneyland for us.
Right.
I've never been to Disney and I have no interest in going. But if they had like a horror themed Disney, I don't even like theme parks anymore. If they had a horror themed theme park, I would go to it just because it's horror themed at least one time.
Awesome. Right.
And that's how I feel these cons are for us. It's like if you can, like, again, I know people with finances. If you can afford to go to one of those things, say you're like, hey, you know what? 2 years from now, let's just save here. You drink sodas and all that stuff. You drink water. Save them water bottles, people, because it adds up. It really adds up.
Yep.
And my advice, which actually this is, I think, my wife's idea, put it in a wine bottle. Like any money you save, put it in if you can put $5 in there, because the wine bottle, you can't get the dollars out like you can with a jar, with a mason jar. You have to break it.
Yep.
You have to break it. So it's like if you could just do that, if you could put $1, $2 in, whatever, if you could do that for a few months, of a year or two, boom.
Another name that jumped in my head, Troy Escamilla, if I'm saying that right. He's a director out of Houston.
Nice.
And I think he's actually going to start a Houston Horror Con, which I've been here forever. I don't remember there being, and it seemed like it's going to be a more jazzed up version of a con.
That's awesome.
He's starting that in 2020. I think he was going to try this year, but I think all the logistics and stuff didn't work out, so they're going to have to have it next year. So I'm looking to go to 2 next year for sure.
That's awesome. Have you ever been to that
the Texas Frightmare? I don't think I can ever afford that one.
I was about to say just going to ask you, how is that con? It's that con's expensive?
Yeah, I've heard a lot of friends say it's pretty pricey, and it's very, very well attended. I mean, they say it's almost crowded. I mean, just too crowded.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd love to go to it. Don't get me wrong. It's just pricey.
Hey,
because the big names are there.
I'll say this, man. You get here's how I'm going to tell you how you can save some money. I don't know if you drink soda and water and all that and beer or whatever. Obviously, bring that back. Get that wine bottle, throw them in there, the money in there.
Right.
That's 1. 2, get rid of cable or satellite, whatever you have, and get this app called GNR TV, GNR Hosting. Get it on the Fire Stick. First month, well, every month it'll be $25 a month for your first month. You use promo code SEARCH30, you get $5 off, $20 for that first month. Over 400 channels, including pay-per-views, and
wow.
If you're into this stuff, which a lot of perverts are, those adult channels, you get that too. You get that too. And there's a password for the adult channels.
Oh, okay.
So you wouldn't have to worry about children going in there. Hey, what's this? Adult? Is it a cool movie? No, don't watch that.
Yeah, stay innocent, please. Stay innocent.
But yeah, so that's 2 ways.
You said there was no contract on that too, right?
No contract, no hidden fees, none of that silly stuff that cable and everything else has.
Really cool.
And say for whatever reason, say you want it this month, but you don't want it next month. You don't pay that $25. It's not held against you. And if anytime you want it, you just renew your contract. Well, not contract, but you renew your subscription. Sorry.
That sounds really cool.
And it's very amazing. When we're done recording, I'll show you it. I meant to hook it up so I can show you while we're recording and all that, but I'll do that in another video. But it's yes. So GNR TV, GNRhosting.com. Go to that. Promo code SEARCH30 when you cash out. Save $5 on your first month, first time subscribers. Awesome. Definitely worth it.
I'll have my the boss look into it.
Hey, I had to do the same thing. As a matter of fact, I was telling her about it, and she was I was iffy on it because a coworker of mine told me about it. A good friend coworker told me about it. I would shout him out, but he doesn't listen to my podcast. But anyway, he was telling me about it, and I waited a couple of months, and I finally tried it out and was like, yo, this is fucking awesome.
Okay.
And don't take any offense to this because I make all kinds of jokes, race jokes. And he was, yo, what took you so long? Why didn't you listen to me when I told you to try it out? I was like, look, man, I was like, I just don't like listening to the white people.
Good stuff.
And he
That's
just started
hilarious.
dying.
Yeah.
But no, really though, it's a great app. And my wife was like, she loves it for the movies and everything. And like, I don't have to pay to order these, that $70 to order a UFC fight,
I got you. I got you.
which I love the UFC. I'll have my brothers and stuff, come over, have the guys come over, eat some food. And she was like, we should get a second Fire Stick so we can have one in the room and one in the living room. I was like,
Right.
I'm down with that. I'm not
Right.
opposed to that because she was iffy about it at first, but loves it now. Loves it. It's
Okay.
amazing. And like I said, once we're done recording, I'll show you it,
Okay.
and we can kind of check it out. And next time I record the next episode, I'll have it set up so I can promo it, show it off, and all that good stuff.
How you work it?
Yeah. Have you ever now the horror boxes I mentioned earlier? Have you ever done any of those type of things?
My son does Loot Crate. That's about as much as we've ever done with that. But I've seen it. I've got a lot of friends. Daryl Hook, he's in Cali. Mr. Meat Hook, he does like openings. He'll do the unboxings. And he does a pretty good little YouTube channel. It's pretty funny stuff.
Nice. Yeah.
And he's shown some really cool. Like he'll open the box up and he'll be blown away with something he got. I'm like, that's really cool.
Yep. And like I'm the same way. Like when I was doing mine, which I'm gonna start doing again as soon as I get my next box. I don't open the box. I don't look at the box or anything. No spoilers. My wife always wants to. Sometimes she'll look at the spoilers online. Me, nothing.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
So you'll get my first reaction when I open the box,
That's really cool.
and I'm just like the first box we ordered, I forgot what's coming, but the next one it's slashers. It's slashers.
Okay.
Friday. I remember. Or no, the first box I know Candyman. I had something to do with Candyman. That's one thing I do remember. But the second box had something to do with Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street.
Now that's the one that has the fun stuff in it, or it's all DVDs.
This one has. I've never gotten this box before, but it has the fun. It has a bunch of different stuff in it though. It's called Fright Crate.
Okay,
And-
Fright Crate. Right. Okay.
And these boxes, man, like the gentleman who puts them together, I believe his name is Jay Stevens. If it is, shout out to you. I got to get him on here one day. But he sometimes these like this box, he sells them. He'll get them together. Like say it'll be for sale on midnight. Like say July 1st. The next one will be out July 1st midnight.
Okay.
So this one was June. Just this Saturday. I think yesterday there was 100 boxes left. Boxes are already sold out.
Wow.
I don't know how many.
I didn't realize that. I didn't realize that's how they did that.
Well, with this one, like with his, I don't know how many boxes he does at a time. Because like with the other one I had with Horror Block, that one went under, but that one it was like a monthly subscription to where you just pay say like 35, say it was 40, I don't remember because my shirt size is a 2X, so it costs a little more.
Okay.
And every month they would just send you a box. But with his, it's similar to the amazing app that I was just telling you about called GNR, where $25 a month. Your first month will be $20. You use promo code Search30, you get $5 off. Well, with his, with his Fright Crate box, it's similar to the fact that you want it this month, but you don't want it next month. It's not auto pay, but it's pretty much first. And he also has two different boxes. Like he has a version, I believe. One comes with like 3 to 4 items. One comes with 5 to 6. I think one comes with a shirt, maybe one doesn't. So one's maybe 20 something and one's 30 something, 20 and $30, let's say. I get the $30 one. I'm like, I need the whole thing.
Right, the whole thing.
But it's one of those things where if you don't want it next month, you don't have to order it. You don't have to subscribe to it to where you're, the monthly thing. You can get it whenever you want it, and I cannot wait to do an unboxing on that. That's going to be so freaking fun.
I can't believe I didn't know that's how that worked. I thought it was a subscription, so you could get shut out if you're not careful, right?
Well, with the Fright Crate one, yes. With the other ones, Horror Block is no more. There was another one that I did after Horror Block. There's Horror Block. There was Horror Box, which I was doing Horror Block and Horror Box around the same time. We stopped doing that. And then there was Coffin Box, which was similar to Horror Block, which did like a DVD or Blu-ray, a shirt, and a bunch of random little horror trinkets. That one, I think I got like 3 boxes, and then it was done. They might have did it longer than that, but I did like 3 boxes, then they went under.
Wow.
I think a lot of it's because of licensing. I don't know 100% sure, but this one Fright Crate, Jay Stevens, I've been seeing him doing it for like the past couple of years, and I kept saying to my wife, I was like, we should try this box, and now That's the one we're doing, and
That's cool. That's cool.
like he'll let you know a few weeks or a month ahead of time, like what the next box is gonna be. And like I said, this one that's coming out, the last one we ordered is gonna be getting shipped this week, and then the one that she just ordered Saturday will probably be getting shipped like the first week of July.
Okay. Okay.
But that's the slide. I cannot. Oh my goodness, I cannot wait.
That's good.
And this
And
is
you're
gonna be like
unbox that one. That's gonna be cool.
that's gonna be like my monthly thing. And like I said, I'm not doing it on Facebook Live anymore because I want it to be. The thing is, I want my YouTube thing to grow to help the podcast grow. I want the YouTube to grow. I'm gonna be doing live videos on my Facebook here and there, like on my Facebook. I have a Facebook group and Facebook page with the same name, Horror with Search 30. I'm gonna do the videos from the page and then share it to the group and share it all over. But I want to do the unboxings on YouTube because that way I can do the video edits and all that kind of fun stuff with it, and then put it out there and post it and share it, and then I can share it on Facebook and all that good stuff with it as well. Because Facebook, you can only share it on Facebook.
Right.
You can't put it on I can't have it on. I can have it on YouTube and Facebook, so that's two different platforms right there.
Right.
But man,
That's cool. That is cool.
It's so worth it. And that art picture, I keep looking at it. It's so awesome.
That's Brian Clegg. He did the artistry on that.
That's awesome.
Art by Clegg on Facebook. If anybody's interested.
Nice.
He's very, very talented. He just did a low pan from Big Trouble in Little China.
Mm-hmm.
The Kurt Russell, another John Carpenter classic. He did a picture of David Lopan. It is really good.
Nice. I've been mind getting him on the podcast, honestly.
Awesome.
Which we could discuss that after the episode. I have some ideas. And that bald guy that's behind you with that Normal Terror bald guy. Shout out to him too.
He's awesome.
He is.
He's next level hero right there.
He is. He's a great guy. I love I go back and forth with him about his baldness. I actually got to meet him in person earlier this year.
Awesome.
Because he was driving truck and he was going from Cali to Boston, and he had to actually make a stop through like this area. And I took that day off so we could meet, and we just met and talked for a while. It was a great time. And I told him, I was like, next time you come out here, because I didn't have this recorder thing I have now. I can't even find it. It's somewhere around here, but I want to. If it happens or when he comes out here again, I want to record with him in person because that would be just awesome.
Oh, epic! That would be very epic.
But that was so cool. He bought me a hot chocolate, so I appreciated that. Oh man, this was a good time though, man. I really appreciate you coming on.
I appreciate it, Sir Sturdy. This is awesome. So good.
And I guess
you really calm me down too.
Hey, this honestly, like when I do movie reviews, sometimes there'll be more people on here too, which I can get into that more when after we record. I'll talk to you for a little bit.
Okay.
But sometimes there's more people on here and stuff, and this is how it is all the time. Just fun, laughing, joking, laid back. Nobody's uptight. It's just talking horror and randomness all the time, even when we're reviewing movies.
The greatest subject, man.
And
the greatest subject.
I do it like that. Like, I know some people, they have their podcast a lot more structured than this, but I just feel this one's more, I'm not gonna say it's more welcoming because I'm not gonna bash anyone else's podcast, but it's just easier.
It's cool.
It's easier, and that's why I'm sure every other podcast does it too. I warm up. I'll talk to the person for a few minutes before we start recording,
right?
And get the jitters out. To let you get the jitters out, and then you just go and record. And I told you it was easy, man.
Well, the two podcasts I've been on have been gold. I've absolutely enjoyed it.
They're fun.
Absolutely.
And those two, Zombie Barbie and Bald Headed Sam Mason, great people. Fun people. They're
you too.
I appreciate it, man.
For what you're trying to do for the community. I mean, that's awesome.
I just love horror so much. I'm like, why? If anybody, and I'm gonna say this now, anybody in independent horror, anything to do with horror, if you're an artist, drawing pictures, making sculptures, you're an artist doing movies, you have a podcast, you want to promote it, you want to talk some horror, come on this podcast. All I ask is you come on here, you talk some horror, promote each other, and have a great time. Have some laughs.
Beautiful.
And we all know Jason's better than Michael, Freddy, and Pinhead.
That's awesome.
Because I know Sam's a Pinhead fan, so I had to say that. And there's a lot of Fred heads out there.
That's awesome.
But yeah, man, thanks. Like I said, is there anybody you want to do some shout outs to anybody? Or
I did a bunch yesterday. If we talked about the CCH podcast, I'm part of that group, and that group right there probably saved me from getting off Facebook, which I was teetering because there was all the hate going on in the world. I
Mm-hmm.
was getting tired of it, and that group right there. Even if you have a disagreement or something, everybody, like you were saying, we can have healthy debates. Every blue moon they get a troll in that group, but it's very few and far between. Actually, had some good jokes come from the trolls,
Mm-hmm.
um, but just the CCH group. Danny B, the Blood Brothers run it. Danny Bonin and Scotty Bonin,
Mm-hmm.
Danny and Scotty B, and Robert O'Neill, class act guys. They're making movies.
Nice.
Y'all might want to self promote each other because those
Yeah.
guys they would love to come on your show. I bet.
Hey man, I'll tell you that. Well, I'll tell you after the show too. But anybody you can think of,
Okay.
send them my way. But actually, well, I'll do my part after. If you have any more shout outs, keep going, man.
I've got them. I've still got them wrote down from yesterday. I'll
Oh
do it
yeah.
again. But I want to make sure. I think I missed Richard Stringham yesterday, and Richard he was one that made Close Calls,
Okay.
and that's a really good movie. And when I was writing names down, I think I forgot to write his name down because I was just so nervous about going on for my first podcast. But just can you hear me? Okay.
Yo, yeah, you're good. You're good.
Okay. Okay. So I have to always start with my wife because she's the best thing that's ever happened to me. She takes care of me,
Mm-hmm.
spoils me rotten. So
Mm-hmm.
Samantha Wagner, I have to make sure I shout out to her. But David Martin, Damon Williams, who I mentioned earlier, who's these guys are top notch horror fans. I mean, these are the real deal. But you got Danny and Scotty B, Robert O'Neill, Slinky Gallo, and Pop Tart. They have
Mm-hmm.
their own little podcast, Comic Book 101. Check it out. That's a good one. And
Definitely.
Slinky's an artist, and he amazing. Where he made me a Jason mask, and
Ooh,
it's one of a kind. It's very nice.
Slinky, I
Hard
want a
to wear.
Jason mask.
There you go. So then, Ty and Draco, Lance Dale, Thad Timothy, Shade Fox, Aaron Garcia, David Mays, Josh McBride, Teddy Thomas, Christopher Elswick, Jonathan Brindle, who's from the UK,
Mm-hmm.
Freddie Torres, Jennifer Evans, and we've already talked about Ron Scott and Joe Ridgely, Dan Yeager, C.W. Penny, Sam Jeff Loomis, Daryl Hook, Ian Messenger, Tyler Shea Combs, Zane Hirschberger, who's just gold. Dude is just, you need to get him on the show. He is gold. Um, Jake Zelch. Jake is making the reimagining. Look up Savage Vengeance. It's a cult classic.
Mm-hmm.
Jake is making the reimagining of that,
Okay.
and that's going to be trippy. I've seen a lot of behind the scenes shots. That's going to be trippy. That's going to have Tamara Glenn in it, who was in Halloween 5.
Nice.
She was one of the. She was actually one of the women that fought back against Michael in the Halloween series. So I still think she met her demise, but
Yeah.
she fought back. And then Christopher Enlow, who's been really awesome, talking to him lately. Paul Waters, who I met through Richard Stringham. He is a I think you might want to get him on your show. He's awesome. And Dustin Ferguson, who's out in California, he was with Sam today. They went to a con. And
Nice.
Sam videoed with him. Two of my favorites together. Brandon Slagle, Brett DeJager, Roy and Lisa Rose, who I talked about earlier from the Texas gas station,
Mm-hmm.
and of course Sam and Zombie Barbie, just making all this happen.
Yes.
They're the best.
That's awesome.
And of course you. I mean, you are rapidly rising up.
I
You're moving
appreciate it.
way up the charts.
I hope so, man. I really do. But I couldn't do it without all the help I get and have gotten over the what is it, a year now? Year and a half with this podcast. First and foremost, I'm gonna do my little shout outs, and I have to do same thing. My wife, if it wasn't for my wife, I wouldn't have this podcast because she actually I got a new mixer ever since then, but she surprised me with a mixer. She was like, "You've been talking about this podcast for like a year or two now with your face," because I'll do the Facebook Live videos, the unboxings, and just random horror talks.
Okay.
And I kept saying, I'm going to start a podcast. I'm going to start a podcast. And then went from that to I need just when I get the equipment that I want, because I want to do it. But, I want to get a mixer and have it sound really good and all this good stuff. Got a mixer. And then it was, I need co-hosts. I need people to record with. And it was with my brothers, my cousins. And I went from that to just meeting people with Facebook and all that. And here I am now, I guess. Fast forward that. So definitely shout out to her. Without her, I would not be able to do this. I would not be doing this. She does not want to come on the podcast. She likes the whole behind the scenes thing, which is cool.
Great? Isn't that just great?
It's cool. Everybody who's been on my podcast, I greatly appreciate it because without you guys coming on here, I'd have nobody to talk to. as far as recording this podcast, and like I couldn't do it alone. It's one of those things. There's some people who can. I wish I remember the podcast name. I listen to it here and there when I can. But some people can do a podcast alone, like horror podcast, whatever. I'm not one of those people. I would get bored listening to myself, talking to myself,
Right.
let alone other people having to do that.
That's awesome.
I have to hear myself talk every single day. But yeah. So shout out to everybody: Zombie Barbie, Sam Mason, my brother Henry, my brother Rob, great friend Matt, my cousin Jared and Michael. You guys were on here before. Anybody else I forgot? I'm sorry, Michaela. You were on here a couple times. You helped me out. And my brother, my younger brother Christian, he's never been on an episode, but he's like my producer. I send him this. He'll mix it down and do everything for me. He made the when you listen, actually, and my cousin Michael, I'll shout him out because he did he read off the GNR thing for me because him and Christian used to rap. They still do here and there. So with them like reading off something, and then it's easier. Like they can do it a lot. I can do it, but it's just a lot quicker. Me, I'm more of like with this podcast is more like a freestyle thing. I just whatever comes here just comes out. Gotcha. But so he did that. When you listen to the ad, my brother made the beat for the GNR ad, and then I have Sam's intro in the beginning. It's talking about Normal Terror. I'm not sure who did the beat for that, the music for him, but then my intro comes in right after that to introduce the podcast. My brother did the beat for that.
Wow.
So he did 2 beats made for this podcast pretty much. So definitely big shout out to him. And if you look, big shout out to my niece Mia too, because she's 4 years old now. But real quick with this, I have the 2 Jason masks I showed you, and I have like plain white ones. So I was just fooling around airbrush, and I airbrushed one pink.
Oh.
And I showed her one of my Jason masks, and she was like scared of it, hiding under the table. And I was like, I'll be right back. I showed her my pink one, and she grabbed it and took it.
She loved it.
And she loved it. I let her keep it. So my brother, she was at my brother's house, and he sent me a video where she's holding the mask, and he's like, "Who is this?" And she's saying, "It's Jason's mask."
That's awesome.
And I was like, I need you to do me a favor. This is actually before the Jason countdown. I was like, can you put that? Just take the video, put the audio in and put that into my intro. So when you go to my podcast and you listen to the intro, you'll hear her saying, "It's Jason's mask," and it's on from that Friday the 13th countdown. It's gonna be on every single episode now, like.
Oh, and
Just
when she gets older, she'll really love that. That'll be great.
I hope so. I would show it to her. She's too young now. I would show her the intro part, and she would probably start laughing or smiling. But so yeah, big shout out to anybody and everybody who's been on the podcast who I haven't mentioned. I apologize. I'm sorry. Everybody that listens to this podcast, everybody that shares this podcast, that's in the horror group, I appreciate that. Keep showing the love. A couple podcasts to check out. Check out 3 Guys At Horror. And check them out. Well, this episode it won't be out before the con. Maybe the video will be out, but I don't know. Anyways, check them out, or I hope you check them out at the ScareCon in New England. They're gonna be there. I'm sorry I couldn't be there for that one. I'll be there for the next one. But I hope I won something. I hope I won something in that podcast award thing. But check those guys out. They're awesome. Joe, Eric, and Todd. Big shout out to you 3. I was on my boy Chris's podcast yesterday. Stories from a Bar. It's just random conversations in a bar. Couple of guys drinking some beer. He does it with like the owners of the bar or somebody who works at the bar or the brewer or whatever. So definitely check out his podcast and check out my guy Anthony's podcast. Wow, I had a brain fart. Video Game Crosstalk. He talks about video games, technology, and science. Great, fun podcast. You learn on that podcast with some of these episodes without realizing you're learning something, and it's fun, funny. Check it out. I highly recommend it. All these things that I'm mentioning are on my the page I sent you. That cool things to check out, pages to check out. They're on there. They're all on. Those 2 podcasts are on Podbean, iTunes, probably Stitcher, YouTube, and any other platform. Spotify. I don't know what you listen to for music, but Spotify. I'm also on all those same platforms. So check those out. Those guys also, Stories from a Bar, and what was the other one? Video Game Crosstalk. They're both on Facebook as far as they have Facebook groups. Check out Joe's House of Horror. Check out 3 Guys At Horror Facebook group also. They're just all amazing groups, all amazing guys, all amazing people. Check out Sacrificial Terror podcast. Great podcast with Zombie Barbie and Sam Mason. And just any indie horror film. Check every single one of any one you can get your
Please.
hands on, even if it's the
Please.
YouTube ones, all of it. Check those out. They're amazing. They're
And there's some
fun.
good ones. You can find some good ones in Walmart.
Oh yeah,
Just to mention, there's some good indie stuff in Walmart.
there's so many gems out there, and
Yep.
another great thing about horror is it's one of those things where you can have an independent movie, and it can be. I'm not bashing any other genre. I'm just saying with
Right.
horror because it's what we love.
Right.
It's me and you. If we had the talent, we can make a movie on our cell phones and people would watch it. I'll say that.
Exactly.
That's tough to do, but you can do it with horror.
Yep.
So big shout out to everybody. A big shout out to my brother John for making my figure, the Search 30 figure. You can see it in the background right here. And yeah, this was a fun time, man. I greatly appreciate you coming on here.
Had a blast.
Thank you again. And do you have any other shout outs or any other thing you want to say before we close it on out?
I think I covered everybody, and I'm just so freaking just really happy to be here.
Oh,
You really hooked me up.
This is awesome. And the good thing about this, people, I've mentioned this earlier during the podcast, but this is actually going to be the first of many podcast videos because I figured I can record with Skype. And so you're going to be able to see our facial reactions and all this other stuff. And when we're doing these hand gestures and showing each other stuff, like, you know how my brother's on here doing stuff all the time and you can't see him, but I can? Well, now you'll be able to enjoy that too.
That's awesome.
So again, Lance, thank you for being on. You will definitely be a guest on here a lot.
Awesome.
That's definitely going to happen because
That's awesome.
your passion for this is amazing, and that's the kind of energy I want on this podcast. Is just somebody who really loves horror, and I don't care if you're someone who loves horror. If you just love the big name movies, you're a fan. If you just love
Right.
the indie films, you're a fan. And if you love both, you're a fan. There's no segregation here. We're not about that nonsense.
Right.
And on that note, I guess we can wrap it up. And
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
you got any closing?
I love horror. I absolutely love my genre. That's it.
And as always, ladies and gentlemen, I'll see